The following is an ESPN special presentation.
There is no other city like it in the world. This is New York City, and it is just as tough as you think it is. And if you play sports here, you had better be just as tough as the city. If you lose, it looks like that. But if you can dig down and find it, the city is yours. Winning brings glory, and no man seeks it more in this Ranger team than this one. This is the Great Northwest in Vancouver, British Columbia. Brilliant vistas and a brilliant star by the name of Pavel Bure. Hockey is an intimate part of the fabric of life here in the Great Northwest. There are other things to be done. There are other heights to be attained, and Kurt McLean has attained some of them in this year's playoffs. This goaltender has been nothing short of magnificent in net. The key to the hearts and the key to this series for Vancouver is this man, Pavel Bure. He too is trying to attain new heights, and in this magnificent setting, Vancouver and the Rangers continue their battle. Welcome to Vancouver, where the quest for the Cup continues. And believe it or not, this is what it looked like at 4:20 in the morning on Friday when the Vancouver Canucks came home. And this is what it looked like today. Everywhere in Vancouver, all you see and all you hear, Vancouver Canucks. Those people waited overnight for tickets. This is the Pacific Coliseum, the home of the Vancouver Canucks, who come home tonight to take on the New York Rangers with the series tied at 1-1. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Delighted to have you with us here on ESPN. Our coverage of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Vancouver Canucks got the victory they wanted in New York. They come home 1-1, but if they're going to take a couple here, they're going to have their star produce Bill Clement, and that's Pavel Bure.
I think really, Gary, that the Vancouver Canucks are very fortunate to be coming back here to Vancouver tied 1-1 in the series. Nevertheless, they are 1-1, but this is the time of year when hockey teams will tell you the dancers have to dance, the singers have to sing. In layman's terms, that means the role players must play their roles, the goaltending must be good, the best players must play their best. That did not happen in New York, and Pavel Bure has to improve his game for the Vancouver Canucks to win the Stanley Cup. A great amount of credit for Pavel Bure's problems belongs to the New York Rangers. They did not shadow Pavel Bure. They put Mark Messier's line and primarily Brian Leetch out there against him and did a terrific job. It was a very frustrating 2 games for Pavel Bure in New York. The closest he came was Game 2, hitting the crossbar. And in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, you can see that both Pavel Bure and Trevor Linden really carried this hockey team. 23 points for Bure, 20 points for Trevor Linden. But this is what they have done so far in this series. Pavel Bure, no goals, 1 assist, and Trevor Linden, goose eggs. For the Canucks to win, these guys have to play.
Pavel Bure may have strep throat, a touch of the flu. He says he's healthy tonight and ready to go. Brian Leetch has been nothing short of magnificent for the New York Rangers, but they're going to be without help there tonight.
Yeah, Leetch will have to be good because Sergei Zubov is a scratch for the New York Rangers. That means the power play, which is struggling, will be without their top point getter from the regular season.
All right, so we'll see what happens. They are excited here. 1982 was the last time the Stanley Cup Finals were played in Vancouver. Tonight, Stanley Cup Finals are back. And the men who've been in net, Kurt McLean, all games for Vancouver, and Mike Richter, each of them with 13 wins, go at it again tonight.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3 4 5. Am I up all the way, Cord Heitman? Thank you. I'm still looking for that frustration shot on the bench. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test
1 2 1 2.
Test 1 2.
A lot of crowd noise, Court, but of course I can't tell if that's.
Test
Yep.
1 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that you, Court? It's you, Doug. Okay. Wow.
Tommy, I can just barely hear you. I got so much crowd noise in my headset.
Me too.
Wow.
I can't hear for the crowd.
I'm eating it.
Go like this. Go like this. Can you get the crowd out, Cord? And it's not coming through our mics. We both just had our fists around our mics.
Try it again, Tommy.
I'll die if we have to do that. Wow.
That's ear shattering.
I know, it's so piercing.
Are we care?
Open net return if you could.
Cue me, Tommy. I can't hear. Not scratched. Who is the scratch?
I got that from Barry Watkins.
I got it from Colin. I don't know if he's in there or not. John, thank you very much. You see the lights have been dimmed here at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver as the introductions of all of the players is going on the ice. The Vancouver Canucks, as we said, have not had a playoff game here since 1982, so they are some excited. And Bill, while we have a moment, Zubov is playing.
This is incredible. In the never-ending cloak and dagger world of Stanley Cup finals, Sergei Zubov is in the lineup. Gary and I, you and I were both told by different members of the New York Rangers organization that he would not play. I did not even see him in the warm-up.
He didn't skate. He didn't skate in the warm-ups. He must have got so excited sitting back there watching his teammates skate, he decided he had to play. So he's out there. John Asbridge is the PA announcer here at the Coliseum, and while they introduce the Vancouver Canucks, and as they start that, we will take you down so you can hear the excitement and electricity that takes place in this city, just as we showed you in New York at Madison Square Garden. Let's go down to John Asbridge.
Number 30, Glenn Healy. Starting in goal, number 35, Mike Richter. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Rangers. Now for your Vancouver Canucks. Number 3, Brett Pedersen. Starting on defense, number 4, Gerald Diddick. Number 7, Cliff Ronning. Number 8, Greg Adams. Number 10, Pavel Bure. Number 14, Jeff Courtnall. Number 15, starting at center, John McIntyre. Number 16, Trevor Linden. Number 18, starting at left wing, Sean Antosky. Number 19, starting at right wing, Tim Hunter. Number 21, Jyrki Lume. Number 22, Jeff Brown. Number 23, Martin Jelena. Number 25, Nathan Lafayette. Number 27, Sergio Momesso. Number 28, Brian Glynn. Number 32, Murray Craven. Starting on defense, number 44, Dave Babbage. The backup goaltender, number 35, Kay Whitmore. Starting in goal, number 1, Kirk McLean. The coaching staff of your Vancouver Canucks: Mr. Rick Lee, Mr. Ron Smith, Mr. Stan Spiel, Mr. Glenn Hanlon. The president, general manager, and head coach of your Vancouver Canucks, Mr. Pat Quinn. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your Western Conference champion, Vancouver Canucks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, would you please rise and would you please join Mr. Richard Loney in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner and O Canada.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of the bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, who came to love in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see rise the blue north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Are they so excited here? You bet. And why not? Not just because of their hockey team, but because of where they live, because this is the magnificent Northwest British Columbia, where you just cannot beat not only what goes on inside for hockey, which they love, but the beauty outside as well. We'll be back. All right, let's get this story straight.
Yeah.
We have been given corrected changes on the scratches. That's the way we're doing this.
Should probably explain the process that we get a list of people who are scratched, and then we got the list.
And now it's been changed.
We got the list of Zubov was not scratched off of the list. Therefore, the deductive reasoning wizards that we are,
Oh, we've done that. coverage of the Stanley Cup Finals is brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? By Sprint. We've got everything you need. Local, long distance, and cellular to let you be there now. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. This series tied at 1-1, and games 3 and 4 will be played right here at the Pacific Coliseum. We are given a list before the game as far as scratches are concerned. We were told Zubov was going to play. That list has now been corrected, and the scratch list now says he will not be in the lineup.
We therefore apologize to the members of the Sergei Zubov fan club for all of the confusion.
He isn't there. Jay Wells is. Let's see what the matchups are going to be. Interesting tonight. The first five's out there for the New York Rangers, but Pavel Bure's line is not going to start against Mark Messier's line, with Vancouver getting the final change, of course.
Because we're on the road, the Rangers have to declare first. So the Messier line was declared, and Pat Quinn countered with the McIntyre line. We'll have to see if Quinn wants to keep Bure away from Messier's line.
He's got Hunter out there on this line, along with Ankoski, a big checking line against Messier's line. Centered in front, knocked away by Richter. Played up ice. Anderson got it away to Leach. Leach, Graves, and Messier. Leach moving in. Leach, the shot! Great save made by Kurt McLean right away. Anderson shot, another save by McLean, and the rush of the Rangers is on again for the first 10 minutes.
Mark Messier took John McIntyre to the boards and made him part of the boards behind the net, but when the puck popped out, Brian Leach seized the opportunity. What a rush.
Now Pavel Bure's line has come out. Rangers have also changed up. Tikkanen is out there. He's got Nemchinov with him, then Nemchinov going in. Lume knocked it away. Noonan's the other forward on this line. Tikkanen couldn't get it. Bure. Pavel Bure in on Richter. Scores!
Tikkanen takes the shot. That missed the net. Lowe keeping the puck in for New York. Shot in there by Noonan. McTavish missing it back of the goal. Lidster kept it in from the blue line. Lume chasing McTavish. Here's Noonan turning around. Noonan being watched by Momesso. Flipped it into McTavish. He dumped it out front. Ronning is there to clear the zone. Scoring play, 1:03, the time of the goal. Bure, his 14th of the playoffs. Linden and Adams got the assist. 1-0 Vancouver. Lidster is nailed. Here's a pass ahead to Adams, and he just missed it. Backing up is Jeff Brown. Up for Adams again. He took it onside. Then took a hit from Wells, but got the puck in there. Linden was knocked down. Rangers shoot the puck down the ice. Icing waved off. Hedican. He is being watched by Kovalev. The Canucks get the puck out. Adams again, just failing to pick it up near center ice. 2.5 minutes into the first period. And the crowd happy with the way the Canucks have started out. They're leading 1-0. And they're at it again. Bure.
Even a very tiny opening, but Bure has explosive speed. We have talked about that. We did not see it in New York. As far as I'm concerned, he explodes the most, the best, and the fastest when he sees daylight. There was never daylight for him to look at in New York. You saw him explode on that play because there was daylight in front of him. That's when he is his fastest.
Pavel Bure had his 16-game streak ended in scoring a point in the last game. There have only been 2 games in this year's playoffs where he has not scored. The second game against Calgary and the last game against the New York Rangers. He starts another streak maybe right here. Pavel Bure for tripping. Power play here for the Vancouver Canucks, already leading 1-0. Neither power plays converted in this series. Shot by Lume is wide. Linden will be out there. Brown cannot hold it in. The Vancouver Canucks 0 for 11 in this series. And when you go back to the regular season, they've scored only 1 goal in 23 chances against the Rangers on the power play this year, regular season and playoffs.
In the playoffs, their power play is -1 against the Rangers because the Rangers got a shorthander in game 2.
Linden tried to center. Leach was there and hit Andy Van Hellemond, and that one hurt. Van Hellemond took that one right on the side of the leg, cleared out of the zone. It hit off the Rangers bench. So the faceoff is going to come back in the Ranger end. 1-0 Canucks on top. They've got 1:25 left on their power play as Bure has put them up. And let's check in downstairs with Steve Levy.
All right, Gareth, thanks very much. We heard so much about weathering the storm in New York, that Rangers storm, and Vancouver was very content sitting back, only being down a goal after 1 period, even after 2 periods. But here in Vancouver, they wanted to come out and attack and match top to top with the Rangers, and we see so far so good for Vancouver, guys.
Bure played 48 minutes and 23 seconds in the first 2 games. Not an exceptional amount of time for an exceptional star. You compare his 48 minutes with 73 for Brian Leach. Shot, save made by Richter, rebound in front. Adams tried to center. Bure, shot, save made again by Richter as Bure. And Leach. Shot. 54 in the power play for the Canucks. Lume brings it up. Lume over to Greg Adams, and he's in offside. Adams moved in ahead of it on the right wing. Jyrki Lume has been a real difference for this team during the regular season, and a power play quarterback along the blue line. These 2 goaltenders, what seasons, what playoffs. Richter with a 1.83 goals against, second best in the playoffs, 13-5. At the other end, 13-6. Kirk McLean, his save percentage, you see, is second best in the playoffs.
Fully expects the New York Rangers to continue to try to crash the net the way they did in game 2. He said that's no big deal. The Calgary Flames tried to do that and did it a lot in the first round of the playoffs.
Messo had it pinned up in the corner. Vancouver tried to hold it in here. Dug out by Ronning. Ronning spins around. Batted up in the air by Kevin Lowe. Lowe missed the last game. Bad shoulder. Lowe's back in the lineup, but the Rangers are without Zubov tonight, who took a shot in the last game to the chest. They say it is bruised. We never get an official announcement, but Zubov expects to be back for the next game on Tuesday. So Wells and Karpatsev are both playing in tonight's game for the Rangers on defense. Third back left wing side. Portnoy missed it on the short side. 10 seconds on the power play. Held into the zone by Diddick. Lost to Lidster. Lidster off the dasher. That did not come outside the zone. Finally cleared by Larmer, and that will do it. Power play is over. So the New York Rangers penalty killers continue perfect here against the Vancouver Canucks, and the Rangers have not given up a power play goal now in the last 18 times that they have been shorthanded. Lume cleared it out. Leach is there. 1-0 lead. Bure scoring at 1:03. Bookeboom back. Portnoy there. They collide. puck comes behind the net. Anderson's got it. Anderson coming through the middle with it. Nobody there. Rolls in on Kirk McLean at the other end. Kovalev is out there now with Stefan McCoe and Anderson. Glenn Anderson, what a hit on the far side. Collision with Lume, held in by Kovalev. Kovalev lost it along the far side boards. Up for Leach, who tried to hold it in, could not. Leach takes his man down so that Antoski could not break out. Dumped to center by the Rangers. Hennigan is there. Penalty coming up behind the play. A charging call on Vancouver. The New York Rangers will have a power play when we come back to Vancouver.
Miller Lite presents Full Contact Golf. Yes, this summer it's not just a sport, it's a free t-shirt. The Full Contact Golf t-shirt. Just look for specially marked packages of Miller Lite at your favorite store. Find this can and win instantly. There are over 500,000 t-shirts to be won.
Cool. Hey, cool shirt.
Hey, thanks. The Full Contact Golf t-shirt coming into full contact with you. Only from Miller Lite.
Hey, great shirt.
Great beer. Can your beer do this?
Never know what a girl might find. I'm a four-lane lover with some ground to cover. I'm in an interstate state of mind. Ah, my phone book's gone.
Thank goodness for this. Call
Accountant. Yes.
Call Sprint for the voice-activated phone card, the easiest card on the road.
Is this a great country or what?
There will be no power play. Andy Van Hellemond takes two as Glenn Anderson and Tim Hunter are gone, matching minors.
One of the things we have been tracking is the hits in this series. The New York Rangers, through the first two games, have 72 hits. The Vancouver Canucks, 45. The Rangers out-hit them in both games. Expect that to change here. This Vancouver team is home. The adrenaline is flowing. They just have to make sure that they don't overdose with the adrenaline. So far, they look like they're in control, but I really expect that they will use their size more here than they did in New York.
Kovalev moves it into the zone, got tied up. A 4-on-4. New York Rangers have taken advantage of that in the playoffs. Shot by Adams, save made by Richter coming back from right to left. 4-on-4 situation, and with us here in Vancouver, Al Morganti.
Well, the Rangers can look up and find themselves behind during a game for the first time, but you know they won't be shocked by it. Yeah, they've had 10 minutes of fury on their side for the first couple of games of this series, but I talked to Coach Colin Campbell about this. He said, you know, when you go to the other team's building, you're not saying you're building in to get down, but you expect that they're going to come at you hard. It'd be silly to say you want to get behind, but he said you have to be emotionally prepared for what's going to happen, not get shaken, kind of hold your ground, and then come back at them. So we'll see if they can come back at them after fury by Vancouver.
You know, part of holding your ground means not breaking down defensively. Mike Keenan did not want any defensive breakdowns early in the game because as jacked up as the home team is, they generally take advantage of them. That's how Bure got his goal.
Face-offs won behind the net again by Messier. The Rangers coming into this game have won 74 face-offs to 53 for Vancouver over the first two games, and Messier has been instrumental in winning draws for the Rangers. McLean goes back to get it. Craven takes it behind the net, 4-on-4. Rangers have scored 6 goals and given up 2 in the playoffs this year, where they have had a 4-on-4 setting. Leach stepped up, had to take Diddick down, but he knocked him down. Craven in. Craven looking for a little help. Bure cutting, went behind him. Shot, save made. Babbage took it. Babbage's own rebound, played it behind the net, tried to center. He gets hog-tied behind the net. Bure went by the puck and picked up by Messier. 54 seconds left on the matching minors. Bure's goal has given the Canucks a 1-0 lead. A Tikkanen shot, save made. Kirk McLean had that one lined up. Back to the far side, Tikkanen. Tikkanen shot. That one comes near side. New York Rangers trying to get a line change completed here as Messier heads to the bench now. Kovalev comes out. Behind the net, Lume goes back to get it. Lume will hold it there. Pavel Bure getting on the ice when he sees Mark Messier in that 5-man grouping lead. Intercepted. Larmer had it, lost it. Bure batted it up in the air. Played by Trevor Linden. Linden looking. Bure's hanging a bit at center, trying to find some room. Cleared into the zone wide, and back to get it will be Kevin Lowe. Top scorers of the Vancouver Canucks have had their problems. Linden hasn't had a goal in 6. Portnoy hasn't had a goal in the last 11 games of the playoffs. Bure had not scored in the last 3, but has picked one up here in this game.
Biggest problem for the Linden line that involves Bure in New York, they couldn't even generate shots. Both the Nathan Lafayette line and the Cliff Ronning line had more shots than Trevor Linden, Pavel Bure, and Greg Adams, and that's not the way the Canucks win.
They may get that turned around tonight as a result of having the last chance to get lines out. Adams tied up by Leach, taken by Linden into Martangelo. His shot trickled just wide. Bounced off a skate. Richter had come out. It went wide, however, of the far side post. Steve Larmer trying to bang it into the zone, had it knocked away by Brent Hedican and into the seats. Canucks 1, Rangers nothing. Leader all this season and in the playoffs for the New York Rangers, number 11.
Kind of interesting that Mark Messier did not lead in one statistical category during the regular season, but now that it counts, he is the man that is leading the way statistically for the Rangers as far as their forwards are concerned. You know what he has done in this game so far, Gary, that he didn't even really do that much of in New York? He knows that the Canucks are jacked up. You've got to combat that kind of adrenaline with some hits. This is Mark Messier's second hit of the game. He followed through on his check. He just tried to reef Pavel Bure into the boards. That's number 2 in the hit for Mark Messier. And he didn't hit that much in New York, but this team is on the road now. He has to get them ready to play.
Lost behind the net. Roding trying to clear it up as Messier won yet another draw here and allow the Rangers a scoring chance. Cleared in from center right off the blocker on McLean. Rangers had not cleared the zone, and they will be called the offside. Messier, who has a better points per game average during the playoffs in his career than during the regular season, tells you a bit about the kind of money player that this guy is. More production when it gets tougher sledding.
Well, I think what has impressed me the most, Gary, is his stamina. He is 33. You can see that he's kind of puffing for air right there. But he is 33. The New York Rangers have 10 of the 20 men in roster, in uniform at least on their roster for this game, that are 30 or older. Mark Messier is 33. And all of them still look fresh at this stage of the hockey season, especially Messier.
And Messier just won another draw as he put that patented shot on net right off the faceoff. Puck ends up on the Ranger bench. And we'll have the draw coming at center. Canucks are leading at 1-0. The Vancouver Canucks here at home during the regular season were just one game above 500. And Pat Quinn's team during the regular season was one of only 6 teams that got outscored at home. And the only team in the playoffs this year that had more goals scored against them at home than they scored, which, don't ask why, I don't understand that, but it was true. Bure is the only one of their leading scorers who had more goals at home than on the road. All the rest of their people put more in the net on the road than here. But they've got the 1-0 lead in this one, and they're out shooting the Rangers right now 7-2.
He actually wants Pavel Bure and Trevor Linden to generate more offense for a couple of reasons. First of all, they need the offense. That goes without saying. But the other thing is that puts the Mark Messier line on the defense. They have to play a little D. Right now in this game so far, though, Pat Quinn has been able to keep Linden and Bure out there when Messier isn't. It doesn't look like he's trying that hard to do it. It just worked out that way.
He's got Antosky and Hunter out there with McIntyre against this line. The way they started the game, Messier kicked it in but was offside in doing so. 11:03 to go here in the first period. Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, where the Canucks have a 1-0 lead. Antosky on the far side, getting ready to go at it with Joey Kocur. These two bumped one another in the last game when they were getting ready to take a face-off towards the end of the game. They all but dropped the gloves, and once again they were in each other's face over in the corner. One of the meanest fighters in National Hockey League history,
Joey Kocur. You know what the other players say about him too, Gary? It's not so much the meanness as it is how hard he punches. If you took a poll of the players in the NHL, they would tell you that Joey Kocur has the hardest punch. If you want to call it a knockout punch, call it that. But when you get hit by it, you get hurt by it.
Yeah. And there aren't many who've been willing to go after him and start it. Brought into the zone by Wells. Babbage back to get it. Babbage, the veteran D, clears it out. Rangers almost got caught up as Wells had pinched in. Karpatsev and Wells are the defensive pairing now, working with Messier, Graves, and Kovalev. Maybe that's the way he'll do this. Joey Kocur's out there now. Kocur in the corner. Well, the lines are really being changed up. Graves behind the net, couldn't play it. Kocur in front, shot, save, rebound. Kocur kicked it wide. Graves picks it up. Graves back to Messier. McIntyre trying to tie it up behind the net, can't do it. Messier and McIntyre are tied up while Graves battles for the puck. Graves gives a shove to Jyrki Lumme. Lumme goes down. He'll get the puck underneath him for a whistle if he can. He can. Graves comes out with it. Graves in the middle, shot. Kocur and a save made. Kocur just stood there waiting for the puck to come to him, and he got it. Sent in by Leach, and a penalty coming up on Lumme. Lumme in front of the net, lost his helmet, and will draw the penalty along with it as he took Graves down to the ice. Power play for the Rangers.
Hey, we're live at ESPN. Canucks have rocketed to a 1-0 lead over the Rangers. Now, Prodigy's connected to ESPN Net. If you've got Prodigy, you've got scoring leaders, power play numbers, penalty killing stats. If you don't have Prodigy, you've got nothing. You've got warm beer, an ugly lounge chair, a cat you should have spayed 3 years ago. Hey, the choice is yours, Prodigy or a nervous cat. Call 1-800-979-LIVE to get free Prodigy software plus 1 month's membership free.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, the cold one. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste,
You know, I've been looking for that.
the world is a very cool place. So get out of the old and get into the cold.
Jirke Lume has gone for a holding in front of the net of Adam Graves. The only goal thus far, Pavel Bure at 1:03 from Linden and Adams, a 1-0 Vancouver lead, and now the Ranger power play will go to work. And Bill, both these power plays are struggling enormously right now.
This is the longest the New York Rangers have gone this season without a goal. They went 0 for 15 on a stretch right around Christmas, but 0 for 17 is tops for the season. And now they are without Sergei Zubov in their power play, so expect to see Esa Tikkanen with some time on the point. Also expect to see Doug Lidster out there with Brian Leetch at times.
And Kovalev may get a shot at the point, too, because of the missing Zubov. Kovalev has played the point in this playoff year. Tikkanen's out there right now. There's Esa Tikkanen. Ian Leetch are working back. Kovalev drops it off, or tried to in the corner. Does second time around. Ranger power play here. Also, we ought to give credit to both these teams' short-handed units. They have been outstanding here. It's not just that the power play isn't working. There's some hard work going on with the penalty killers. Moving out now is Kovalev along the point. He really doesn't belong there. Leetch drops it off. Shot deflected by Hedican. Batted up in the air and out of the zone off the shot by Larmer. Leetch comes back to get it. Leetch circling in his own end. Steve Larmer working up front. Stepan Matteau setting up in front of the net. Matteau was offside. He picked his leg up in order to avoid being hit by the puck and ended up in the zone. An unlikely hero for the Rangers in the playoffs thus far this season, Stepan Matteau.
It just seems like every year a new one is created, and this has been the year for Stepan Matteau. He almost, in Game 1, ended it for the New York Rangers, and he would have had his third overtime goal of this year's playoffs. He came to the New York Rangers at the trading deadline from the Chicago Blackhawks. The New York Rangers wanted to become a better 5-on-5 team. They were set with their special teams, but they wanted to be able to grind it out, and that they had to do against the New Jersey Devils. Stepan Matteau was a hero against the Devils.
Now we're in this wide-open series with these two teams tied at 1-1, Game 3. Here tonight, and delighted to have you with us, wherever you may be, on ESPN's National Hockey Night coverage of the Stanley Cup Finals. You'll see them all right here. Back to Leetch. Ranger power play. Leetch shot deflected, didn't get in. Shot Kovalev. That was deflected out deep. Good play by Hunter. Tim Hunter blocked out and cleared out of the zone. Some veterans out there. Hunter and Babbage working that side on the shorthanded unit. McIntyre stays out with Diddick now. As the Rangers come back with 50 seconds left on the advantage, Leetch had to go back to get it. One of the coldest buildings in the National Hockey League here at the Pacific Coliseum. Very hard ice. They make sure of it. And it was freezing in here today. And even when they get the 17,000 in here tonight, it'll stay cold. Kovalev lost it. Coming up along the blue line, they came to meet it. Graves, it's whistled, and it's offside.
And this is where they might miss Sergei Zubov. He is terrific at gaining the zone on the rush between Brian Leetch and Sergei Zubov. When the Rangers bring the puck up ice, very effective at establishing phase 1 of the power play, which is the setup. Looks a little choppy so far. That time it was Kovalev with Leetch. What Mike Keenan will probably do is let Brian Leetch play the entire 2 minutes of the power play and mix Alexei Kovalev, the player you see going down there, Esa Tikkanen, possibly even Doug Lidster with Brian Leetch. But the kind of play that we've seen from Brian Leetch and the kind of stamina, I have no doubt that he can do the 2 minutes of the power play very easily.
Leetch has 4 power play goals to lead the Rangers, and in fact tied for the league in the playoffs in the power play goals. Brian Leetch. And McTavish is just taking time. What Bill was talking about, because Leach is staying out there, McTavish pulled the tape off a little bit just to gain a little extra breath for Leach. Yep. So he can rest a minute. And now the Vancouver Canucks will cooperate as they're tagging to the bench on this face-off. McTavish comes over to take the face-off against Murray Craven. Sooner or later. 31 seconds remaining on this power play for the Rangers. Craven wins the draw. Dropped it back, flipped up and out of the zone. Rangers chasing it down in their own end as the Tikkanen comes back. Tikkanen and Leach along the blue line. McTavish, Noonan, and Larmer are up front on this Ranger power play. 8:20 to go. First period. Pavel Bure scored at 1:03, and it is a 1-0 lead for the Canucks. Cleared around by Glenn and out of the zone. Ryan Glenn acquired on waivers. Here he is in the Stanley Cup Finals. Noonan has to go back deeper to get him as Craven drove him there. Leach takes it at center, and the power play is over. So both teams have had a chance on the power play. Neither able to convert. Nathan Lafayette sent it out. Kevin Lowe is there to get it. Shots are now 7-5 in favor of the Canucks. Cleared ahead intended for McTavish. Intercepted Lafayette to Craven, but he was offside when he hauled it back out of the zone. 7:45 remaining. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. 1-0 Canucks.
Hey, I've been attacked by sharks. And struck by lightning. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I give it. Come on. In this league, the fans are as tough as the players.
Chelios, you're a bum!
Win! Get real.
Logo Athletic, licensed team apparel.
Face-off outside the Ranger blue line, won by the Rangers, sent into the zone. Greg Gilbert going back to get it. Centering pass, cleared up by Babbage. Adams will bring it out of the zone. Back to Linden. Nathan Lafayette out there now as the Lions continue for both teams to be quietly regrouped here as the two coaches are making lots of changes. McTavish got hit hard by Diddick. Linden drops it back. Lafayette's out there instead of Bure. Adams moves in, dropped it off. Lowe was there to pick it up. Kevin Lowe up for Greg Gilbert on the near side. Gilbert just tipped the puck out to center. Faced down by Jurge Lume back in his own end here. Linden drops it. Brought up by Adams, 2-on-2, and Martin has got a man open on the left side. Shot save made by Richter on Glenn. Glenn snuck in on the left wing side, and he was wide open. Boy, Richter made the save.
He did a great job just to get the shot away. The pass was a little behind his stick, and Brian Glenn was able to get it up and then get the shot away.
Bookabone, the intercept. Kicked away by Kirk McLean as a souvenir into the seats with 6:39 left in the first.
Well, this is the kind of New York Rangers defense that we did not see in the first two games. They have given the Vancouver Canucks some chances with turnovers in the neutral zone and also turnovers at their own blue line. Case in point, this last attempt by Brian Glenn. As Greg Adams busted in, he had Brian Glenn. See, he actually had to take it off his skate. Well, Glenn did a great job. He is a big man, but he will jump up on the play very quickly. And from our goal cam, Mike Richter, you can see a couple of steps, 1 step, 2 steps, and then over to make the save. Kirk McLean at the other end.
Shot from the point by Bookabone is blocked right back to him. Bookabone near side to Leach. Leach comes back to get it, tried to get it through. Ronning was there. Vancouver jams it up in front. Mateau holds it in, knocked down. Martin Gelinas couldn't get it out. Leach sends it in again, and it's in! Brian Leach! Now misplayed puck by Kirk McLean. It wasn't even on net. It was to the outside on the stick side. McLean went out to play it and deflected it himself back into the net.
Do you think Jeff Brown had anything to do with it? Brown was going back to get it. But this is an easy goal, and a very easy goal by New York Rangers standards. Here it comes. Watch Kirk McLean. No, Jeff Brown didn't touch it on the way. That is incredible. Gary, what, 3 feet? 3 feet wide. And the New York Rangers, who have had to work so hard for everything, he tried to get that with his blocker. And he overcorrected. He went too far on the blocker. And it may have just bounced down and hit his stick or the inside of his pad. Incredible. Kirk McLean could try to do that for an hour and not do it.
That's a wow. And it's a 1-1 game. Brian Leach credited, and does that quiet the Pacific Coliseum. Leach at 13:39 has his 8th of the playoffs and 2nd of this series unassisted. Brian Leach will take it. As Bill said, that's the first soft goal that they picked up.
I don't think they had
it was
one.
an empty net.
I don't think they had one through the entire Devils series. I mean, if you look at the New York Rangers, it's taken them 23 shots to score a goal. The best save percentage during the regular season was the Florida Panthers, and they were scored on one every 12 shots, a goal every 12 shots, and it's taking the Rangers 23 shots to get a goal.
Wow, that is an unbelievable goal. Lowe goes to the corner. Hunter over there with him as they push each other off. Leach now has 27 points in the playoffs, only one behind the playoff leader, Doug Gilmour. Whistle blown for the draw. And with 5:48 left to go, the Vancouver fans trying to get back into this after being stunned.
Well, Brian Leach has been the driving force offensively for the New York Rangers. In Game 1 at Madison Square Garden, he made an incredible pass to Alexei Kovalev for Kovalev's goal. He also made a terrific pass on the Steve Larmer goal in the same game. So Brian Leach has been the most dangerous New York Ranger offensively in the playoffs. Now we get a picture here, Gary, of what Pat Quinn is doing. He is playing the John McIntyre line that has Tim Hunter on the right side, a real banger, and Sean Antosky on the left against the Messier line. That's the pattern that he wants.
Puck deflected in front by Messier. He's got him every time he can get him out there. He's got that checking line going against Messier, and McIntyre's all over Messier, trying to aggravate him. He's been coming behind, cross-checking him, hitting him with a stick. Rolled in front, McLean backs it away. Hunter. There's a lot of shoving going on behind the play. Moving in, Hedeken. Hedeken tied up by Leach. Hedeken, after his own shot, couldn't get it off. Blocked by Bukaboom. Messier lost his helmet behind the play. Brown lost his helmet behind the play. All of that was going on far away from the puck. There's Brown. Jeff Brown, blue line shot wide. Over to get it, Pavel Bure. Nope, came back to Leach. Rebounded right over to Leach. Messier lined him up. Messier saw it coming, got the elbow up.
Well, I tell you who will suffer because of these line matchups is the Cliff Ronning line. If Mike Keenan continues to play Mark Messier a lot, that means that Vancouver's fourth line is going to play a lot. Obviously, Vancouver got to get the Bure line out there. Where does that leave Cliff Ronning's line? That's been the most effective line in this series. He leaves them on the bench.
Watching the game. Nessa Tikkanen cleared it out of the zone. Brian Noonan down the side. Tikkanen with him. Overskated it. Comes back to get it. McTavish in front of the net. Shot by Noonan wide on the short side. Kevin Lowe rebounds it. He takes it. McTavish tried to tip. Couldn't knock down Tikkanen. Tikkanen trying to center Jyrki Lume there high off the glass. On the dasher, Doug Lidster tried to hold it in. Pavel Bure. McTavish says and a penalty coming up. And I'll tell you, Mike Keenan is not going to be happy with the two calls that have been made when Pavel Bure has been knocked down. A power play for the Vancouver Canucks, 1-1 the score.
All across America, AT&T works for businesses like yours to help increase sales with their own AT&T 800 number.
My 800 number provides me with revenue-generating sales.
Get an AT&T 800 number to help your business increase sales. Now for as little as $5 a month. Call 1-800-977-4288. It even works on the lines you already have.
Easy.
There are no startup costs, plus you'll get 10% off all calls for a year if you call by July 31st. AT&T 800 service, now increasing your sales in-state or around the country, can be your AT&T business advantage.
AT&T makes it easy for me. My 800 number helps me compete with the big guys.
Let the most reliable 800 service work for you. Now for as little as $5 a month and 10% off all your 800 calls for a year. Call by July 31st and let AT&T work for you.
AT&T works for me.
AT&T works for me.
AT&T works for me. Me.
Yeah, the Rangers weren't happy about this call. Look at Andy Van Hellemond over in this corner. Now, he tries to get up on the play, but he's way on the far side of the ice. Up comes Craig McTavish, and there's the penalty on the left of the screen, right in front of the penalty box. Pavel Bure made a smart play. He realized that Andy Van Hellemond might have bad sight lines on the far side of the ice, so he just crumbled as soon as McTavish put his hand on him.
McTavish goals on the holding call at 15:40. Rangers have their second power play chance. The Canucks do, rather. Second power play. Courtnall dropped it in the middle. Momesso blocked by Bukaboom. Jeff Bukaboom reached in and blocked that shot. Good play by Bukaboom to help his goaltender Richter, who was facing Momesso in a one-on-one that he not gotten that poke check on.
This is the type of ice time that Cliff Ronning's line will probably get now. Went Ronning to Courtnall, and Courtnall with a nice play to Sergio Momesso. Cliff Ronning was easily the most effective forward and the most dangerous forward for the Vancouver Canucks in the first 2 games of this series. And if the matchups continue, he may not see a lot of ice time.
Vancouver Canucks on their second power play, trying to get out of the offer that they are in this series now. Momesso trying to get it to Courtnall, blocked by Leach. Comes back to Lume. Shot save. Richter on Bure, who was back at the point. Picked up by Momesso. Momesso on the near side lost it to Leach. Regaining control is Courtnall to Momesso. Ronning now along the near side boards. Power play underway. Back to the point. Bure, the shot deflected by Messier into the seats. Mark Messier put the body down in front of Pavel Bure's windup. That's another ouch. Our Miller Genuine Draft League leaders as the Stanley Cup playoffs continue here in the finals. The plus-minus ratings. Look at these. Leach, Messier, Graves, and Bukaboom of the Rangers, 1 through 4. Murray Craven of Vancouver and Sergei Zubov at plus 11. The top 5, really 6, if you will, in plus-minus.
Mark Messier has contributed in so many ways, including this one, going down for a block, and he got that one right off the skate. It's blocks like that that have the coach saying, Mark, you don't have to do that. Let other people do that. If the New York Rangers lost Mark Messier to a broken ankle because of a blocked shot, they would be in big trouble.
Well, we really want you on the ice. 10 goals, 14 assists for him. He's tied for 3rd in playoff scoring. And he is tied for second in goals. Pavel Bure, the leader in the playoffs in goals. And he's added another one here tonight. Game tied at 1-1. Ranger penalty killers at work here. Another 48 seconds in this power play. Jeff Brown drops it down to Bure. Bure to Brown. Brown shot deflected again as that hit the back of Trevor Linden. Blocked again by Lowe. Lowe up for Graves. He couldn't get it out of the zone. Kicked by Lowe, but Brown holds it in. Lume's got Linden in front. Just deflected wide. Trevor Linden went to the wide side post. Bure back to the far point. Shot, save right over Adams' head. Jyrki Lume was open. Bure's got a 20 on the power play. Back to the point. Brown dropped it off. Lume again. Shot again. Blocked by bodies and cleared out as Graves. Blocked it and then cleared.
What a great play by Doug Lidster. He was really waging war with Trevor Linden in front, and in the middle of his battle with Linden, he had the presence of mind to see the shot coming and get down in front of it.
Hedekin cleared it all the way down into the zone. Babbage had to go get it. The power play is over, so they are 0 for 2 on the power play in this game. And Pat
Ronning with the matchups where they're going, cutting down his ice time. Well, he's talked about, he said all he can do is the best he can when he gets on the ice. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, we have talked with Brian Burke literally just now. Brian Burke automatically must review any 5-minute major. He says, I've reviewed it already. I looked at it right here in the building. There will be no suspension.
Well, that is quick attention to the situation. On the right of your screen, Pavel Bure on May the 2nd knocked out Shane Churla of the Dallas Stars in the semifinals. Tonight he took a whack at Jay Wells and got 5 in a game for that, and that was after he had scored the Vancouver Canucks' only goal of this game.
So Pat Quinn already knows that his star is gone for the night, but he also already knows he's going to be playing in the next game on Tuesday. Let's check in with Elmore Gandy.
I spoke with Andy Van Hellemond about the call between periods. He said it was an easy call. No shoulder, no body, just strictly a stick to the face. He thought Wells might have broken his nose. In fact, he took 3 stitches over the eye. Van Hellemond was sure of the call, just a stick to the face. Guys?
There's no doubt in our minds, Bill, about it. I mean,
no, but
he had no choice.
And I'm wondering how it's so quickly reviewable by Brian Burke and that statement issued. I'm very, very surprised, especially with the track record that Pavel Bure has, especially in the playoffs.
Brian Leach brings it in. Back to Graves. His shot save made by Kirk McLean. Second period underway, and the Rangers have 3 minutes and 2 seconds on a power play on the Bury Major. Hit by Tikkanen into the corner. Hunter cleared. Brian Burke, who was here tonight, said as soon as the incident occurred, I went back to our videotape machines. I went back over and over and over, looking at it from every angle we had. I determined there was no justification for a suspension. Larmer's got it, but he said Andy Van Hellemond had no choice but to make the decision he did in calling the 5-minute major. Brought back in by Linden, knocked away by Kovalev. So the New York Rangers are on the power play. 2 minutes 29 seconds on it to start this second period. The Rangers have the 2-1 lead on the goal that came in the final minute of that second period to give the Rangers that lead. And now they've got a chance to do some real damage. The shots are 11-10 in favor of the Canucks. Anderson's goal from Nemchinov and Bukaboom came at 19-19 of the third. Glenn Anderson tried to drop it back. Intercepted. 2-on-1 Courtnall. Rangers get back with Linden. Nice block of the play made by Steve Larmer. Tipped back into the corner. Tikkanen rather have blocked that, and Tikkanen picks it up behind his own net. A wild and furious first period that had a wild and furious intermission with everybody trying to find Brian Burke. Cleared up to the near side. Karpatsev, who had been welded on the bench in the first period, is playing on the point on the power play. Intercepted, cleared up, but not out. Held onto in the middle. Shot went wide. Brian Noonan. Rebound shot wide on the near side by Nemchinov. Held in by Doug Lidster. Lidster dumped it into the corner. Puck still controlled by the Rangers. Karpatsev, that one went wide. The Rangers are all over it right now. Back to the point. It's Noonan. Brian Noonan moving in. 1:11 left in the power play. Anderson behind the net. Nemchinov shot. That one was blocked at the side of the net. Lidster able to hold it in. Nemchinov behind the net, tied up. Noonan back to get it. Noonan drops it off to Anderson. Long time in the zone here. Anderson sends it back into the corner. Noonan looking to the middle. Anderson cutting in. Anderson dropped it off. Lidster could not get to it. Adams cleared it up, but not out. 46 on the power play. Lidster in the corner. Hedeken is there with him. Lidster back up. Some tired legs for both of these units right now. They've been out there for a full 2+ minutes. Finally cleared by Murray Craven. 30 seconds left on the power play. Rangers lead it 2-1. This power play, the result of the 5-minute major, picked up by Pavel Bure, who is out of this game. Hunter tied up McTavish. Babbage hit by Graves. McTavish, the puck, drops it behind the net. Larmer back up to Leach, 10 on the power play. Leach off the boards to himself. Leach takes the shot. Deflected wide by Graves. Graves couldn't get it. Cleared up by Diddick. And that will do it. The power play is over. Back to full strength. Hit put on by Brian Noonan right there. Boy, did he take a shot. Back at center ice, Glenn clears it in. Glove down. So the Rangers still unable to convert on a power play. Even the extended one, they could do nothing with it. Chased down by Glenn behind the net. McTavish is there with him. Through center, Brian Noonan trying to catch up. Courtnall had it, swept away by Leach. Gilbert on the far side. Brought it out of the zone, tied up by Nathan Lafayette. Yerke Lume over to get it. Lume spun around at center, lost it to Leach. Leach had it poke checked away from him by Trevor Linden. Courtnall. Lume will play it. Lafayette is now out there with Linden and Courtnall on revised lines. Partly because of Bure being out, and partly because of the penalty-killing unit that spent so much time out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who Pat Quinn decides on to play the right side with Trevor Linden. He'll have to do some juggling. And you know, when you look at the fourth line of Antosky and Hunter and McIntyre.
Whoa! Shot! Gilbert! Save made! Rebound is covered by Kurt McLean. Greg Gilbert right in the crease with a puck on McLean.
Man, just about a 3-1 game.
2-1 Rangers on top. Brian Burke, second man in the National Hockey League, the senior vice president who makes the decisions on suspensions here, of course, at the game. And as we said, he reviewed the incident on the call by Andy Van Hellemond on Pavel Bure.
He may have left himself open for some criticism on this one, Gary, because Pavel Bure, as he spun around, came up with a stick and looked to me as if he intentionally hit Jay Wells. Obviously, I interpret video differently than Brian Burke does, because it looked like Pavel Bure did not try for the stick, did not try for the puck, but tried for Jay Wells' face. And Brian Burke very quickly ruled no suspension at all.
Brian Burke ruled it was careless rather than intentional. Those are his words. And that's why he did not put a suspension on to the 5-minute major. So Bure out for this game, but will be able to play on Tuesday. Shot by Lidster. Deflected in front of the net. Boy, that one almost went in off a Vancouver Canuck. Back the other way. Momesso, his shot. Richter's got it. Just barely. Trapped it in the 5-hole. Rangers 2. Canucks 1.
Accidents happen. But in Dodge Caravan,
when you write, it is written, box O.
Here, trying to get back into the game themselves and get their Canucks back into the game.
This building is so loud, Gary. I played in the NHL for 11 years and came into this building every year. It was always one of the quietest buildings in the NHL. I played here the year that the Canucks went to the finals. They knocked Calgary out in the first round. I played against the Canucks. It was a quiet building then. This year in the playoffs, it has been transformed into a noise factory.
The Bure incident has taking some of that noise out of it right now, and the Ranger goal in that final minute of the first period to give them a 2-1 lead took some more out. Hunter in the corner. Bure scored from Linden and Adams at 1:03 of the first period. Leach tied it up at 13:39 on a fluke goal that went in off Kirk McLean. Just went in off him. It wasn't even on net. And then Anderson from Nemchinov and Bukabom at 19:19 has given the Rangers a 2-1 lead. 14:42 to go here in this second period. Andy Van Hellemond, our referee tonight. Ray Scampanello and Randy Minton are the linesmen working with it.
And Mike Richter sure settled down after allowing a goal very early in this game on a Pavel Bure breakaway.
Well, they've got the senior referee right there. He has refereed the second most Stanley Cup Finals games in National Hockey League history, and is only 9 away from the record.
Remember what you said about the Andy Van Hellemond, Pat Quinn kind of running feud? Maybe it's back on again after the call on Bure.
Noonan had it blocked. There'll be a lot of paper reading going on tomorrow by hockey fans in North America. Ronning the shot. Oh, what a save by Mike Richter. Then Lowe dumps the Vancouver Canuck at the side of the net. Took him right into the crossbar. That was Martin Jelena.
And he's gone for it. Andy Van Hellemond has given him a penalty. Roughing. And Kevin Lowe will go. Watch this shot from Cliff Ronning. Just inside the blue line. But look how far out of the crease Mike Richter is. I mean, the plus of being that far out of the crease is there's not much to shoot at. You cut down the angle. But the way Cliff Ronning shot this, the negative is you have less time to react the closer you are to the shooter. Richter did a nice job. I actually thought, let's see from this angle, I actually thought that puck dropped a little bit. It was fluttering on the way in, and here comes Kevin Lowe to push Martin Jelena out of the way, but he has picked up a roughing penalty in the process.
So the Vancouver Canucks will have a chance to tie this game up on the power play. With the faceoff coming to the left of Richter, you see Vancouver, the 0 for 14. The New York Rangers, penalty killing unit, has not given up a power play goal here against the Vancouver Canucks. Lume going back to get it. Roughing on low at 5:34 of the second period. Sent in wide of Richter. Plays it behind the net for Bookeboom. Bookeboom batted it around but not out. Held in by Brown on the near side. Ronning had it in the corner. Lost it there. Bookeboom up the boards again. This time Messier got it out. One-on-one Graves and Lume. Lume in front of him. Graves the backhand shot. Save made by McLean. Adams there to pick up the loose puck. Adam Graves, their leading goal scorer during the regular season. 9 goals, 4 assists thus far in the playoff year. Bookeboom again out of the zone. Penalty killing unit of the New York Rangers. I mean, they do deserve a great deal of credit. They have been unbelievable here in the playoffs. They were third best during the regular season and have picked it up. Shot in by Lume. Hard around the boards. Ronning and Larmer. Larmer got position, got the puck, and cleared it out. McLean behind his own net. Rangers lead at 2-1. 50 seconds remaining on this Vancouver power play. Lume sends it behind the net for Ronning. Cliff Ronning, the speedster, starts it up, gains the red line, dumps it cross ice. Larmer was right there, read it perfectly, couldn't clear it out of the zone. They lost it behind the net. Vancouver looking to center. Bad pass. Larmer was right there, and Brown put it right on his stick. There was no Vancouver Canuck in the middle. Babbage behind his own net, down to 22 on this power play. Babbage, near side Glenn. Glenn looking in the middle. Courtnall brings it in. Fakes. Courtnall tried to center. Blocked by Bookeboom again. Here comes Nemchinov. Nemchinov on Babbage. Canucks get back. Nemchinov swung it through the crease. Power play, 4 seconds left on it. Chance for one more run. Momesso up. Power play is over. Back to full strength. Momesso into the zone. Sends it behind the net. Murray Craven lost it there. Centered again Momesso. Batted behind the net to Courtnall. Courtnall reversing direction. Even strength now. Back out near side. Babbage was open. Babbage waited. Wanted to go to the middle. Blocked there by Nemchinov. Blocked again Nemchinov. Momesso. Save made by Richter. Courtnall the rebound to Craven. He tried to center Momesso. Deflected into the corner. Momesso put a big hit on Leach and knocked him down. Then Momesso goes to the far side boards and puts the body again on Kevin Lowe. Intercepted by Nemchinov. Moving in 2-on-2 Rangers. Backhand shot off the side of the net, played there by Glenn. Glenn starts it up ice. 11:45 left in this second. Leach goes back to get it. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Shots are 14-13 in favor of the Canucks. Back to get it. McIntyre looking into the middle. Hit by McTavish. Leach played the loose puck. Gilbert got pinned up, trying to get it out. Noonan able to kick it away from Hunter. Noonan sends it in. Hunter takes him down. Ren Hedican behind the net. Hedican will start it up for Vancouver. Series tied at 1-1. Game 3 and Game 4 to be played right here at the Pacific Coliseum. Then have to play this one too. Richter back to get it. Low. Immediately tied up behind the net. Was able to put the body in front of it, and Antosky couldn't get to it. That'll end up in the seats. The New York Rangers try to take the lead in this series. Lead this game 2-1.
Great.
Square Garden on Thursday night for Game 5. Face-off coming to the left to Mike Richter. Again on the draw. Messier lost this one to Trevor Linden. Kicked into the corner. Linden and Messier still tied up. Bukaboom back to get it. Around for Graves. Graves gets it out of the zone. Chased down by Martin Jelena. Jelena trying to get it up. Bounced into the zone. Good play by Graves. Can't get it out. Leach shot. Messier was in front. Got knocked down into Kirk McLean. But they separate. And no call on it as Messier was knocked into him by Brent Hedigan. Back to center, getting onside. Jelena dumps it off. Boy, with Pavel Bure out of there and the lines having to be changed up, it shows. How could it not? Centering pass all the way back to the point. Hedigan bounced around him.
Well, it looks like Martin Jelena is settling into Pavel Bure's spot. I was trying to say before about the fourth line of Antofsky, McIntyre, and Tim Hunter. You got to generate some offense if you're out there with Trevor Linden, and that is not an offensive group of people. So Pat Quinn has really had to juggle his lines now.
A 3-hour tour.
Face-off coming and a shot at the crossbar, and here we go again.
What took him so long?
Man, they've been waiting. It was 6 in the last game off the metal pipes. That one off the crossbar for the Vancouver Canucks. Third back up, Lidster holds it in. Jammed a little deeper by Esatikkinen. His shot deflected wide off McTavish. Rebounded to the middle. Noonan, turnaround shot, save made by McLean. Nathan Lafayette picks it up, starts it up ice. Lafayette comes to the middle, into the zone to Courtnall. Courtnall, Lafayette. He got jammed by Lowe, blocked the shot. Kevin Lowe, bad shoulder in this last game, playing well here. Centering pass to Craven, deflected back to Courtnall. Courtnall drops it. Back to Courtnall, nope, misty. Off the near side boards. And out of the zone, Noonan. They'll wave off any icing. Lumet will have to come back to get it. Boy, an open hockey game as we've seen in this series. The first two games, two teams who like to skate, and they are doing it. Leach intercepted at his own blue line. Into the middle, Anderson has got a goal. Anderson the move. Backhand shot, never got it off. Centering pass, side of the net. Batted at by Mateau. Rebound comes to the near side boards. Nemchinov shot, save made, and Kirk McLean hangs on. 9:02 to go in the second from Vancouver. Rangers 2 and the Canucks 1.
Back when baseball truly was the national. There's Gehrig in the Bay, Williams and DiMaggio, Ebbets Field, Fenway Park, and it's all in spectacular color. Call now and get both of these award-winning videos, along with 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the swimsuit issue for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. There's nothing like the magic of when it was a game. And there's nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Well, it was Murray Craven's turn. I don't think he had one of the crossbars in Game 2, but he has one now here in Game 3 off the face-off. Right to him, left all alone, and he dinged it directly off the crossbar, just over Mike Richter's left shoulder.
Craven with 4 goals, 7 assists in the playoffs this season. Face-off will come to the left of Kirk McLean, who has won only one game in his career against the Rangers, and that, of course, was Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals that he won at Madison Square Garden. Kirk McLean is now 1-8-2 lifetime against the Rangers. Sent into the corner. Kind of ironically, Mike Richter at the other end has lost only one game to Vancouver, and that, of course, was the game at Madison Square Garden. 5-1-1 is Richter's record against the Canucks in his career. Off the side of the net, Bukaboom, look out. Hunter was right there with him. Leach clears the zone. 2-on-1 chance. Messier with Larmer. Messier in. Shot. He didn't get it on net. Missed from the short side. Larmer centered. Hunter overskated. Cleared back up for Babbage. Leach steps in on him. Was Leach missed the play?
I don't think so, Gary. And like all great defensemen, he is reminiscent of guys like Bobby Orr and Brad Park. They stand in at the blue line. 9 times out of 10, they don't even come close to getting caught. Anybody else stands in, they got a 2-on-1 going the other way.
Unbelievable. Our Budweiser Stanley Cup summary. The Rangers out of the Eastern time zone the first time since March 27th. Record in Game 3s this year, the Rangers 3-0 and the Canucks 1-2, and Brian Leach leads the National Hockey League with 4 game-winning goals this season, and he has picked up a goal in this one. One of the 2 up there for the Rangers. Anderson has the other. Pavel Bure, the goal for the Vancouver Canucks. If you joined us late, Bure is gone. He picked up a 5-minute major for high sticking and the automatic game misconduct. That came at 18:21 of the first period. Back to get it. Hedican cleared it around. Mateau cut it off. Mateau tried to drop it back for Anderson. Deflects out the center. 3-on-3. Memesso will flip it in. Kevin Lowe goes back to get it. Lowe getting plenty of ice time in this game. Sergei Zubov not playing for the Rangers. Got a bruised chest. Mateau in. Mateau looking to the middle. Got it there. Nemchinov couldn't get a stick on it. Lowe will hold it in. Comes around to Mateau. Mateau centering pass. Noonan knocked it down. Couldn't get it on the stick. Lidster was cutting in. He couldn't get it to him. Noonan halfway around the world on that one over to Nemchinov. Back to Mateau. Mateau looking out in front. Rangers trying to get people in front of the net. Noonan. Defenseman Leach was cutting, but it was blocked by Memesso and cleared out of the zone by Hedican. Bukaboom coming back in his own end. Both teams over the bench as they change it up. Up ice, Craig McTavish. McTavish has a Tikkanen's got room. Tikkanen winds up, shot, missed it. Brown didn't see him on the ice. He's still alone in the middle. Tikkanen gives up the shot. McTavish set up in front of the net. Bukaboom the shot deflected. McTavish was right there. Kurt McLean decides better part of valor covered and did. Sunday Night Baseball coming up on ESPN tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern and 5 Pacific. John Miller, Joe Morgan will bring you the Cleveland Indians taking on the Oakland A's. Albert Bell, third in the American League, batting at .370, and Ruben Sierra, 38 RBIs, leads the A's. Cleveland on a 6-game win streak. It will be the Indians and the Oakland A's tomorrow night.
Glenn Anderson has scored one of the New York Rangers goals. Great story in the Vancouver Sun today about Michael J. Fox, the actor, not knowing who to cheer for. He's from Vancouver, but he lives in New York. It talked about Michael J. Fox playing in a band as a teenager with rock star Bryan Adams, the guy that lugged their equipment around the Vancouver area as their roadie, younger than them in high school, Glenn Anderson. How about that, huh?
Here's Leach's shot, deflected, went off defenseman Adams, 2-on-2 the other way. Adams comes up with Glenn. Glenn, the drop pass to him, missed him. He'd already gone by. Rangers cleared out of the zone. Back to get it, Lume. 6:38 to go, second period. No scoring here in the second. Rangers have the 2-1 lead. And right now they are out shooting the Vancouver Canucks 15-14. Bukaboom back on the touch and the icing. Mark Messier trying to bring that cup to New York. The New York Rangers, the #1 team, of course, during the regular season, and trying to keep it that way.
But let's go back to the Glenn Anderson goal. The puck is right here. I want to show you the nice play along the boards here that Sergei Nemchinov makes. Right here. He deflected it by Brian Glenn and then got squeezed off the play by Glenn, spun around, made it happen. Bottom of your screen, you see Glenn Anderson going to the goal. Easy.
Off the draw, Canucks bring it out through center. Lidster knocked it away off Nathan Lafayette. Mateau couldn't handle. Dave Babbage goes back. He and Didick are together. Defensive pairing for the Vancouver Canucks. Babbage the spin, got it to Ronning. Ronning starts it up ice. Return to him. Wide of the net. Lidster goes back for the Rangers. Doug Lidster. Nathan Lafayette has taken over for some of the ice time Pavel Bure would have had otherwise. Ronning tipped it away. Lowe's there to get it. Lowe drops it back for Lidster. Lidster up to Nemchinov. Nemchinov trying to send it ahead. Can't. Brought back in by Lafayette. Lafayette to Courtnall to Ronning. Ronning had it batted out of the air by Lowe, playing a very strong game. Intercepted. Larmer drops it off wide side. Nemchinov. Fans still are not back in this game. The Rangers, however, cannot get a 2-goal lead, despite the fact Bure is gone and the house is sitting back a little, still stunned by Bure's absence, and the game 5-minute major.
For that matter, neither team can get a 2-goal lead in the series. There has been a 2-goal lead for 5 seconds in this series. That was at the end of Game 2 when Brian Leetch scored into the empty net with 5 seconds to go.
About as tight as it gets.
Yep.
Richter came out to play it himself. Far side to Kovalev. Pace is really slowed down. Gilbert clears it out. They wave off the icing. Kirk McLean back to get it. Drops it off for Glenn. New York Rangers took over #1 in the Eastern Conference November 13 and never gave it up. Team that almost went wire to wire. And now, of course, trying to do something here in the Stanley Cup Finals. El Morganti, El.
Sometimes we make fun of the fact these guys try to hide injuries. Well, I talked to Brian Leetch about Kevin Lowe's injury a couple of days ago. Lowe, of course, missed the game because of a sore right shoulder. And Brian Leetch told me, hey, the game he played, they knew that shoulder was hurt, and they were running at Kevin Lowe. So they kept him out of the lineup for a game. Lowe back in tonight, said it felt a lot better today, needed the day of rest. But believe me, they were running that shoulder, and when they know there's an injury, they might as well just put a bullseye on it.
Well, they had no trouble in finding out what the injury was, because when Kevin Lowe went down at the end of the Devils series, he went down head first and right shoulder first into the board. So there was no faking the ankle injury on that one.
Yeah, we talk about the fact they hide the injuries, but it is understandable. They're trying to protect their players from other teams knowing what the problem is, so that kind of thing won't happen. A tradition here in Vancouver with the white handkerchiefs, towels, flags, whatever it happens to be that given year. They have always worn the white here. You'll see a lot of white being worn in the seats tonight. Canuck fans, loyal, dedicated to this team, and wanting desperately to beat this New York club. The last time they were in the playoffs, the only other time in 1982, it was another New York team, the New York Islanders, who denied them the chance to bring the Stanley Cup back. Lukaboom drops it back over to Leetch. 4:48 left to go. Second period. 2-1 Rangers on top. McLean kicks it away to the corner. McTavish held it into Noonan. Noonan taking in McTavish right out in front. Shot by Noonan. Just went wide. One save made by McLean. The second went off. A Vancouver Canucks skater in front. Trevor Linden the other way. Linden. Adams is with him, but Adams was offside. Now Antosky is out there on that line where Bure would have been.
Boy, it seems to be a revolving door now on the right side with Trevor Linden. What a nice read by Brian Noonan. To make the play, you've got to read it first. As Noonan looked like he was going to head behind the net, he looked out in front and he saw a window, so he just stepped right through it. Gosh, he got his first shot on. He tried to just dump it in at McLean's feet, and that is something that the Rangers will try to do if they get a chance. He got his own rebound, and now all he can do is shake his head because he missed by about 6 inches.
Kirk McLean's facing a lot of shots. He's faced the most shots of the season in that game in Madison Square Garden when he had the 52 saves. Babbitt's shot missed wide. Rebound comes to Messier and cleared out of the zone.
Yeah, and the Canucks are averaging, Gary, just a tenth of a percentage point under 36 shots a game in the playoffs. I mean, Kirk McLean has seen a ton of rubber all the way along. He saw 54 shots in Game 1 in New York, then 40 in Game 2. Mind you, Game 1 had some overtime, but he's averaging 36 shots against per game in the playoffs, and that is a ton of work.
That's 10 more than they gave up on average during the regular season. I mean, you'd think it'd be the other way around, that it gets tougher to get those chances in the playoffs, but that's not what happened in Vancouver. The other end, Mike Richter has had some pretty good protection. Richter has made enormous saves for this New York Ranger team. The play of Kirk McLean's been so spectacular, he's almost been overshadowed by it as far as the two goaltenders are concerned, but both of them in the playoffs have 13 wins.
Well, there have been a couple of squibers that went over his shoulder, too.
Antosky! Save made Richter as he got out in the pile that time. It's on the back of the net. Larmer bangs it off and starts it up ice. Great chance right there for Antosky. Brought back in by Larmer. Messier sends it in deep. Messier got dumped by Antosky. They're still tied up. They're going at it on the near side blue line. There they are as the puck comes back to them. There's still no whistle. Now it blows.
Antosky's trying to pull his hair and he can't get a grip. Mark Messier had his helmet ripped off and stood toe-to-toe. What a warrior this guy is. I mean, one side says, well, what a warrior. He's standing there going toe-to-toe with Sean Antosky, but the other side says he's got to pull away from him.
Come on along and head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer.
Wanna take place you can turn back. Trying the Pringles double stack. Double stack, vacuum pack. You got to like that. Take the space out of Big Bangs. Don't look so big. That's a drag. And they got pieces of those greases. Pringles got the whole chips, you bet. 2 full stacks is what you get. Get the Pringles double stack of chips. Doubly, doubly, 100 resist. Yeah. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Mark Messier's had only 4 minutes in penalties in this particular series. He goes along with Antosky. Antosky had 190 penalty minutes in 55 games during the regular season.
Well, part of the game plan for the Canucks is definitely working. They have played John McIntyre's line with Hunter on one side and Antosky on the other against the Messier line, and it's really stalled the Messier line, and now he's actually in the box with Antosky. That is victory, Vancouver.
It's a matching minor situation with both of them gone, and a 4-on-4, which the Rangers have taken advantage of in the playoffs. They've now scored 7 goals in 4-on-4 settings in the playoffs this year, while giving up only 2. Cleared around far side for Leach. Leach trying to get it out, and Nemchinov is there. Just cleared it out of the zone. Played back by Courtnall. Courtnall leaves it off on the near side for Hedekin. And a whistle and an offside call on the Vancouver Canucks.
Mark Messier and Sean Antosky went off for roughing. And when Messier had come right in front of the bench, watch both Hunter and Antosky take him on here. This is part of their plan, undoubtedly. Obviously, they didn't divulge it, but when you see Mark Messier being hit like that, you know that is part of the game plan for the Vancouver Canucks. Well, in a staring down competition, I'd bet on Messier.
Pretty good chance.
But if it came to blows, I'd bet on Antosky. 6'4", 240 pounds.
Off the face-off. Vancouver Canucks. Brown goes back to get it. Brown at his own blue line. Hedekin joins him there. Limer up on the forecheck at center. In comes Hedekin. Rangers lead 2-1. Sent in. Lowe knocks it down. Kevin Lowe played it in the corner himself. Got spun around by Hedekin. Found the man, though. Outstanding play by Lowe. Didn't panic. Held the puck till he found an open teammate. Limer brings it in off for Graves. Graves hit by Adams on the far side. Adams just dropped it off. Murray Craven almost came up front of his own netminder that time. Hedekin back up near side for Adams. Adams, Graves takes a whack at it. Couldn't get anything on it. Craven's got it. Craven sends it in. Lowe ties him up. Graves back with Adams. Litzner behind the net. 2 minutes to go in the second period, with the Rangers leading at 2-1 as they had at the end of the first. Behind the net, Craven. Both teams really slowing down and making mistakes and looking tired, actually, here in the second period. There's not much flow, and there's not a lot of quick play going on.
Sluggish is the word that comes to mind.
Really? Yeah, for both of them. Played off by Martin Gelinas. Leach waiting for his teammates to get onside, has to drop it back to Bukaboom. 1:35 left to go in this period. John Barry and Darren coming up during our second intermission. Save made. Rebound shot. Score! Who else? Brian Leach! With 1:28 to go in the second period. It's a 3-1 Ranger lead.
Kirk McLean could do absolutely nothing on this one. You know, Esa Tikkanen has had more shots on goal than any other Ranger in this series. He did not score on this one, but he did what he wanted to do. Give Kirk McLean something that he couldn't handle. Tikkanen's blast, McLean got in front of, and then Brian Leach just buzzed in behind everybody. Not only did he control it, but he knew he had to shelf it right up under the crossbar, and he did it. Tikkanen can bring it home. I put him in the Steve Thomas category of the New York Islanders for left wingers that can really rip it. You can't control a rebound like that. And Brian Leach made this one count.
You got to vote Conn Smythe right now. There he is. Brian Leach is now tied for the lead in playoff scoring with Doug Gilmour. That's his 28th point. Tikkanen picking up an assist along with Bukaboom. At 18-32, Brian Leach now has 3 goals in this series, and that is his 17th in his playoff career.
And what a trend change for the Rangers. They have scored now right near the end of both periods. They're usually the team that gets scored on.
Just when you think. Played behind the net by Diddick. And the Vancouver Canucks crowd quieted even more now as they are down 2. Here's a chance. Antoski in. Shot. Save made. Richter, and he looked behind him. All of a sudden, John Antoski had the chance. Richter looked behind him. He didn't realize he had made the save with his right pad. Brian Leetch has given the Rangers a 3-1 lead. 54 seconds remaining to go in the second period. Our Visa storyline from Vancouver, British Columbia. Looks like this tonight. Bure's 14th goal, but he was ejected in the first period. A 5-minute major high sticking. Glenn Anderson has now had goals in the last 2 games, and Leetch 28 playoff points, tied for the lead with Doug Gilmour, our Pringles storyline.
Boy, what a burst of speed by Sean Antoski. You know, I mentioned he is 6'4", 240 pounds. The reason he is in the lineup and Gino Ojic is not in the lineup because they both bring toughness and size. And Toski is a better skater. We saw some of it there. He pulled away from Brian Leetch.
Face off won again by the Rangers. All the way down to Kirk McLean. Back to get it. We're looking at the time remaining in this second period. Where's Bob Newhart? We've got John and Barry and Darren. They're coming up during our second intermission. Off the near side boards. Tikkanen. 30 seconds left to go here in the period. Cleared back in behind the net. Larmer up for Esser Tikkanen. Tikkanen coming one-on-one. Tikkanen and Babbage turn around shot wide. Never got spun around. Picked up by Linden. Linden lost it. Larmer shot save made. Boy, he just turned and got that one on net as the Rangers really starting to control this game. 8 seconds left to go. Shot high by Linden. Very high. Near side Brown. Trying to hold it in along the boards. Did. Courtnall dumps it in wide of the net, and we have completed 2 periods of play, and Brian Leetch continues to be the star for the Rangers as Leetch has picked up 2 goals in this game and has given the New York Rangers a 3-1 lead after 2. Let's go back to John.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. 3-1 is the lead here. The Vancouver Canucks with some work to do in the third period, the final 20 minutes of regulation. When we come back, we will take a look at the first period. We also have a look at the Rangers and their big number, 1940.
Name of Eric Van Roon. Interesting story here in the press today. He's 430 miles northwest of Vancouver. All the fishermen who are out there can't pick up the game, so they call the lighthouse on their 2-way radio to get the scores from the lighthouse keeper, who relays it on to the fishermen. That's how intimate hockey is here in Canada. Face-off won again by the Rangers as Messier won it. Leetch will go back to get it.
And Pat Quinn not going to change really from his pattern earlier in the game, it looks like, because he has the McIntyre line against the Messier line to start.
Shot save made short side as Messier got that one in on Kirk McLean. Series is tied at 1-1. Larmer all alone, deflected, score! A second fluke goal! This one shot in by Larmer. It wasn't on net, and it ends up at the back of the twine. 4-1 Rangers.
How incredible is this? Not only that the goals are going in, but that something that the Rangers were not able to get, and that is an easy goal. They have gotten 2 incredibly easy goals, incredible fluke goals. Steve Larmer with a real nice pass here that went nowhere except off of John McIntyre. I mean, there was nobody there for the pass. It was a real nice pass to nobody. And I thought it was a double deflection. It went off 2 people. It went off John McIntyre and then off Dave Babbage.
Unbelievable. Kirk McLean not having any luck in this game, and the Rangers have a 4-1 lead. That one runs off the side of the net. Still no whistle. Now they get it as it stays there. The Rangers up 4-1. 2 goals going by Kirk McLean, one that he just mishandled himself that Leetch scored, and that one off 2 of his teammates, redirected by him.
A backhand shot laterally in the offensive zone shouldn't have this much on it. Still trying to figure out. Steve Larmer, I guess, must have been trying to pass to Mark Messier, but that pass would have been 10 feet behind Mark Messier. And Dave Babbage finished off the play inadvertently after McIntyre had steered it his way.
Leach shot deflected right back to him. Brian Leach drops it for Anderson. Anderson moved it in. Nemchinov got the shot off. Played in the corner by Stefan Matteau, and Vancouver's got to dig down right now. The second period, they were chasing it around, and right now they're just wondering what's going on.
Yeah, now with Pat Quinn, forget about that matchup against the Mark Messier line. Or does he keep them out there for no other reason to continue to punish them for Game 4?
Yeah. Leach going behind the net. Larmer's goal at 25 seconds into the third. Shot, Richter the save. Rebound is loose. Richter got it. Richter was not sure where that puck was on the rebound. He looked down, had it, but didn't realize it was there, as Brent Hedican was working at the point, and Momesso was right in front going after the rebound. Rangers 4, the Canucks 1. Elmore Gandy.
Well, if the Rangers do go on and win this cup for the first time in a long time, I don't think there's any doubt Brian Leach, the MVP. I talked to Leach between periods. You know, I asked him about Bure, and he said, you know, the bigger thing, we got a soft goal off Kirk McLean. You can't believe how that helps when you get something like that, the way they've been working for goals. And here it happened again. Yeah, the Rangers are in great shape.
For Larmer, his 52nd career goal and second of this series. Unassisted at 25 seconds into the third period.
That's a really good point. The Rangers know now they don't have to do anything magical. There is not an invisible field, force field that is across the net, post to post and crossbar to ice. They just have to keep working at it and shooting it, and they've gotten results in this game just by doing that.
Bill, it's Vancouver that's got to be wondering about the force field and the shield. They're the ones who are not able to mount any offense, and Mike Richter has been absolutely solid.
Yes, he has. But they haven't had any great scoring chances either. The Rangers have started to clamp this game down defensively.
I want to remind you, our coverage of the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 4, continues. We'll be right here in Vancouver on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern and 6 Pacific, for the Rangers and Vancouver Canucks Game 4. That's Tuesday. Then we know we're going to go back to New York for Game 5, Madison Square Garden. That will be on Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. So Tuesday, Thursday, the next two games coming up here on ESPN. Off the glass, loose side of the net. McTavish picks it up in his own end. Craig McTavish took down by Murray Craven. Brian Noonan tried to clear it out and did. It was brought back in offside by Nathan Lafayette, the rookie. We'll see more of Brian Noonan and McTavish, I suspect, here, and probably a little less of Messier's line. It's a chance, really, for Mike Keenan to give them a little rest. Not that this game's over, but a chance for him to give some of those guys a back off a little.
Well, Mike Keenan's got some good defensive players that don't play very much. Craig McTavish is one of them. Another one is Sergei Nemchinov, who has played a lot, and these guys will get a ton of ice time in the third period. He doesn't have to wear Mark Messier out now, does he? He's got a 4-1 lead.
Trevor Linden, same thing with Brian Leach. He may get some time to watch a little bit. Batted away along the blue line by Anderson, picked up by Kevin Lowe. Lowe is out there with Doug Lidster now. Mike Keenan calling Doug Lidster a godsend for the New York Rangers. Didn't play until the last two games of the New Jersey Devils series.
It's a godsend that he held out of the lineup until Game 6 of the Devils series.
And then proved he was still ready to play. A great story for Doug Lidster, and he has played exceptionally solid defense.
He sure has, Gary. He played 10 years for the Canucks before coming here before the season. He was involved in the John Van Beesbrook deal. When Van Beesbrook was sent here, Lidster went to the New York Rangers. Van Beesbrook ended up with the Florida Panthers. But Doug Lidster came into this league as an offensive defenseman and has learned how to play strong defensive defense. And that's why he can play for Mike Keenan.
He was out 64 of 78 games that he could have played. Only 14 games during the regular season.
The guy that's sitting beside him, Alexander Karpatsev, has not seen the ice since the midway point in this hockey game. And I'll tell you what, if Doug Lidster was not in the lineup and they didn't have Doug Lidster, they would have to play Karpatsev, and the Rangers don't want to play him unless they have to.
Lost shot, save made by Richter on Adams. The Rangers coughed it up in the zone, and Adams went in all alone. And Richter made the save, and that's important. Adams again, deflected wide by Martin Jelena. Behind the net, Messier and Jelena. And the Rangers maybe slow it down a little too much. It can be tough. In a series like this, when you get a 3-goal lead, you begin to think, if you're the Rangers, whoa, finally, it's over. Well, there's 17 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in this game.
Greg Adams was the hero of Game 1. He scored in overtime. His dad was a goalie that played some pro hockey. He actually played a year for the New York Rovers in the Eastern League. Played in old Madison Square Garden, so he has some ties to the New York area a long, long time ago. The guy that came here was Pat Quinn's third deal. When Pat Quinn took over as general manager here a number of years ago, came here from Los Angeles to be the GM. Adams came here with Kirk McLean from the New Jersey Devils, and Pat Quinn had made his third deal. And it was a significant deal because Kirk McLean and Greg Adams have been terrific for a lot of years, and Patrick Sundstrom ended up with a bad back and is back in Sweden now.
Yep, out of the league. Played behind the net by Jeff Brown. Greg Adams out of Northern Arizona's hockey program. Brought in by Ronning. Ronning turning to the middle. Vancouver knows they need one here, and a penalty coming up on the far side. Andy Van Helleman's got one coming as they entered the zone. We'll find out what it is when we get back here. The New York Rangers leading the Canucks 4-1 in the third.
New York penalty number 10.
Hundreds of miles to the north and 30 degrees south of zero lies Canada. Blasted by wind, buried by snow, and filled with ice. Molson Ice. Ice brewed by North America's oldest brewery to be a few degrees colder, a few degrees bolder, yet smooth as ice. Molson Ice. From the land where ice was born.
If you lust for power, try this. 1,340 cc's of rolling thunder. It's called Harley-Davidson, and you'll find it in all its glory at Southeast Harley in Cleveland, where you can get anything from an FXR to a BLT. But if you go, bring your love of the two-lane blacktop and your Visa card, because at Southeast Harley, they'll take you to hog heaven, but they won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, the Canucks have a chance here to get one. They're on the power play. Watch Tikkanen just dog Jeff Brown all the way around the net. Dog, dog, dog. All of a sudden, Jeff Brown went down, and Esa Tikkanen gets to sit. You can only get him for so long before the ref's going to call it.
Lume shot, save made. Courtnall bangs it in around the net. Power play is the 5th of the game for the Canucks, who have not converted in this series, much less this game. Ronning can't handle it on the near side. Vancouver 0 for 15 on the power play against the Rangers. The Ranger penalty killers have not given one up in the last 21 chances against them. Shot save made by Richter on Brown and cleared out by Graves. Now the Vancouver Canucks against the Rangers this season 1 for 27 on the power play for both regular season and playoff games. Lume brings it up ice. The Canucks are down 4-1. Need it right here. Richter goes back to get it. Left it for Lidster. Lidster cleared it hard and put it right into Linden's stomach. Linden getting up slowly. Trevor Linden caught the end of the stick that time as it was cleared around the zone. I mean, he was just clearing the puck. The stick came right up and caught him. Larmer had his head taken off by Momesso. Larmer without the helmet out there. Brown moves in.
Only the helmet. His head is still on his shoulder.
Yes, that is true. Cleared behind the net to Lidster. Lidster sends it out of the zone. Babbage just coming off the bench chases it down. Power play underway. Rangers change. Courtnall. Who else? Leach, who just came on the ice, deflected it. Now Larmer exchanges shots with Courtnall. Courtnall screaming at Andy Van Helleman for not making a call on Larmer. He thought Larmer had high-sticked him. Sent into the zone by Glenn. Folks, this could get ugly. Cleared around Richter. He gets bumped by Momesso. An empty net. Centering pass. Can't handle it. Stephane Matteau picks it up. Glenn comes the other way. Sends it in wide. Power play has 10 seconds left on it for Vancouver. Craven had to dump it behind the net. Rangers right there. Glenn Anderson. What a game the veterans played in this one. Pushed out of the zone, but the power play's over. Even strength. 0 for 5 for Vancouver on the power play. Matteau takes it away. Near side Esa Tikkanen just out of the penalty box. Hedican knocks it away from him. Hedican and Tikkanen behind the net. Hedican trying to hold him off. Tikkanen, look at the one-handed job. Tried to center. Messier was there to block it. He swats at it. Babbage knocked it down. Comes out to center. Now we've got penalties behind the play as Hedican was going at it with Esa Tikkanen.
I think Tikkanen won this one. Brett Hedican looks like he's going by himself.
Bill, you mentioned earlier how these two teams on March 25 had a big blowout here at an end of the game.
Hedican, I think, on this play thought that Tikkanen was going to try and cream him into the boards, but Tikkanen smartly went for the puck. Tikkanen held him. Oh, there's the jersey hole. That's a pretty good call by Van Helleman, but Esa Tikkanen helped on the play. Hedican is saying, look, he's ripped my helmet off, which is true. But at this stage of the hockey season, you can never assume that the original is going to be called.
It's Trevor Linden who was behind the net while the Rangers were trying to clear the puck around. Took one right in the stomach. Look back on the bench.
Whoa, I think that might have been a little lower in the stomach. Doug Lidster on the follow-through just speared him. Hardly intentional. He was just following through.
Still feeling it. No wonder. Power play. Hedican at 5:34 goes. Third power play chance for the Rangers. They have not converted in this series, as they are 0 for 2 in this game. They've not scored on their last 19 power play chances. Boy, these power play units of these two teams are down to zip. Offside Rangers. 14:07 left to go in the third. The Rangers have built it up to a 4-1 lead over the Canucks. Series tied at 1-1. This is game 3.
You know, the New York Rangers don't practice their power play. Steve Larmer plays on their power play, so does Kovalev, and Larmer looks like he's cut. Oh, that might have been it right there. Yeah, he got dinged pretty good, but I mean, it was his own stick perhaps that hit him. It looked like he hadn't really grabbed his stick the way he wanted to, and it got smacked right up into his face.
Kovalev brings it in, dishes to Leach. Leach hauled down by Babbage. Leach is going for the hat trick. He's got 2 goals in this game, and Leach turned around and whacked McIntyre coming through the middle. Just a little tit for tat. Kovalev goes back to get it. March 25 during the regular season, these teams had 92 minutes in penalties dished out in the last 29 seconds of the game. It all started when Antosky knocked out Wells with an elbow.
Oh boy,
and now Courtnall's down on the ice. No whistle. He hasn't got his stick. Kovalev drops it off, intercepted, and sent out by Linden. And Courtnall's not 100%.
No, and he looked like he collided with Brian Leach, and he looks like he's holding his groin. I mean, he went down in a hurry.
Power play still underway. Larmer. That one goes wide. Lidster stepping up to hold it in. Rangers have 40 seconds left on the power play. Lume clears it up and out under Lidster's stick. Mike Richter at the other end knocks it away. He's not had a lot of shots since the first period of this game. Up to 21-20 now in favor of the Rangers. Sent in by Esatikin around the boards. Lume comes over to get it. And Lidster, and a delayed offside call here on the Rangers. They've got 20 seconds left on the power play. Well, this game has slowed down to a crawl compared to how we started it.
Perfect for the New York Rangers. Yes, they like flow, but when you've got a 4-1 lead, you'll take a choppy hockey game. Jeff Courtnall appears to be all right. Got his stick back.
He's got a restaurant here in Vancouver appropriately called Double Overtime. The New York Times ran a 6-column restaurant review of Vancouver restaurants. 6 columns. This city has more restaurants per capita than any other in North America. Sent in by Leach. And over the next 3 days, I intend to sample it.
Yeah, probably about 12 in 3 days.
That's right. 1 per meal, folks. That's all you're allowed. Lume behind the net. Knocked down by Gilbert. McIntyre over to get it and pin it up. Power plays over. Back at full strength now as neither team has yet to score a power play goal here in this series. 12:22 to go. Third period from Vancouver. The Rangers a chance to take a 2-1 lead in the series. Lead 4-1.
Hey, we are live at ESPN. The Rangers lead the Canucks 4-1 in the third. Now, I've got 2 big questions tonight. Number 1, is this the year the Rangers end their 54-year drought? Number 2, is this the year the Rangers end their 54-year drought? Prodigy members, you can vote on both of these questions. Take our online poll now and tell us the Rangers or the Canucks. Hey, if you're not a member, call 1-800-979-LIVE and get Prodigy software plus 1 month's membership free.
Hey guys, farm report. Surfing championships. Let's watch both.
Miller Lite presents Cowabunga! Surf's up!
Come on,
and so is Bessie. She's not just swatting flies now, Bob. Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste and less filling, you can combine anything.
She's riding this one all the way back to Wisconsin.
What a cow! What a beer.
Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this?
I want to show you the Jeff Courtnall injury. Watch him here. He just comes in and collides with Brian Leach. Boom, and he got Brian Leach to stick down low.
Leach off the draw. Save made by Kirk McLean. And Koser and Antosky and Hunter, everybody's out there. The big boys out on the ice. Joey Koser in the corner, and they take a pretty good shot at him. That's McIntyre hauling him down. Penalty coming up. Andy Van Hellemond knows what's going on. Not his first day around the National Hockey League. He saw who was out on the ice, and he's not going to let this start.
Yeah, the quickest way to get Tim Hunter and Sean Antosky off the ice and Joey Koser is to call a penalty on anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who, but this time John McIntyre had a real good grip and a handful of Joey Koser's jersey down in the corner, so he goes, and the tough guys go and sit. Maybe. We'll see what Pac-Win does.
I want to remind you, the College World Series being covered by ESPN for the 15th year. And tonight at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, the Auburn Tigers take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Auburn's first time in since '76. Today, Arizona State blank Miami 4-0. It's a double elimination tournament tonight. College World Series on ESPN, midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific. So McIntyre goes on the hold at 7:58, and the Rangers go back on the power play. And Van Hellemond's warning players now. He's got Noonan and Courtnall he's talked to. He talked to Messier. He talked to Linden, the two captains. But he's not going to let this go here if it starts. Leach looking for the hat trick in this game. Courtnall knocked it away. Leach got it back. Rangers on their fourth power play of the game. 0 for 3 in this one. Shot ripped into the seats by Mark Messier. Let's check in with John Saunders.
Time now for the MCI Proof Positive play of the night. We'll take you back to the first period. Brian Leach just kind of sending this one towards the net. Kirk McLean comes out off the heel in behind him, and that started the Rangers onslaught. Gary and Bill.
John, thanks very much. Rangers leading it here by a score of 4-1. Brian Leach the opportunity to pick up a hat trick here in the playoffs. And a lot of those end up being scored. I think we've had 4 this season. Taken by Leach. Save made. Kirk McLean out of traffic in front as Graves is set up there. Leach again off for Messier. Leach dropped it. Noonan tipped away by Graves actually. Hedican trying to get it out of the zone, and they do clear. Tony Amati, Alf Dolan, Mark Messier, and Gary Suter have had the hat tricks in the playoffs this season. The only 4 to have done it. Leach has got a chance. Leach the shot. Blocked into the corner. Murray Craven goes back to get it. Left it there for Yurke Lume. Lume up off the glass and out. Brian Noonan knocked it down. Played by Kovalev. Kovalev off for Messier behind him. Hunter was there. Messier takes the hit from Sean from Glenn, rather. Lume picks up the loose puck and clears it out. Karpatsev getting some ice time now. There's Karpatsev working a point on the power play. He's trying to get the blood flowing in his legs here as he's watched most of this game from the bench. Limer the move. Limer got by 2-on-1. Limer in, tried to drop it off. It was blocked. Kirk McLean came out. The goaltender blocked the 2-on-1 chance. Point shot taken. Karpatsev hung on to, or Kovalev rather, from the point as he moved back.
Boy, Alexei Kovalev, after being glued to the bench just about for all of the second period and part of the third at game 2, and we figured that it was because he overstayed a shift. He has come off the bench and not only played regularly in the middle, but regularly on the power play. Steve Larmer's 2-on-1 attempt is passed to Craig McTavish was stopped. Back to Kovalev. He can do it all. Sooner or later, Alexei Kovalev will be a star in this league. Probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah. 6 goals, 10 assists in the playoffs. Again, the point shot blocked in front. Courtnall trying to kick it out. Linden comes back to get it, gets it out of the zone. Kovalev playing that blue line now. Now McTavish hauls Courtnall down. McTavish is going to go. Delayed call here. There's the touch-up. Courtnall, he just took him around the neck. McTavish did and swung him down right in front of Andy Van Hellemond. So McTavish will go, and the Rangers will lose 12 seconds worth of power play time. And we'll skate 4-on-4 for 12 seconds, then have a power play coming up for the Vancouver Canucks. Andy Van Hellemond out there working his 33rd Stanley Cup Finals game. Bill Chadwick, the all-time record holder in officials in Stanley Cup Finals, 42 games. Van Hellemond's 33rd. He's 18 consecutive seasons that he's worked the Stanley Cup Finals. Face-off will come to the left here of Richter. Tavish out at 9:46 in the hole. We're piling up the specialty teams work now. 7:46 the time of the call, and Mike Richter sitting back there. He's made 19 saves and has a 4-1 lead with his team in front of him. Not a particularly busy night for Mike Richter.
Especially not since the first period. That's where the Canucks really had their game together, but when Pavel Bure wins, a lot of the wind seemed to go right out of the Canucks.
On the crowd and everything else, and it hasn't been the same since, and understandably so.
And of course, soft goals.
Save made, Richter. Linden out in front, the rebound, and again Richter knocked it away.
The soft goals that were scored on Kirk McLean don't help matters either as far as deflating a crowd and a team. So the Rangers have had the breaks go their way from start to finish in this one.
Sixth power play of the game for the Vancouver Canucks. Linden down the middle. Courtnall, the shot. Save. Richter again. Ronning drops it back to the point. Babbage the shot. Way wide. Rebounded in front of the crease. Good play by Bookeboom to back it up to Messier and out.
Not so sure Dave Babbage didn't try that one wide off the boards for the Carum in front because there was a Ranger in front of him that he couldn't get through.
Bookeboom heading to the bench after helping Mike Richter. Rangers short-handed. Larmer. Larmer sends it up. Larmer, Tikkanen, Lowe, and Lidster, the penalty-killing unit. Courtnall bringing it up. Drops it off for Ronning. Ronning's got room. Ronning will take it. Save made by Richter again. 4-1 Ranger lead. 50 seconds left on this power play for the Canucks. And as Tikkanen clears it out of the zone, then got hit by Momesso. Back to get it, Jyrki Lume. Listen to the silence. That's about as much of the story as you would need to know.
I couldn't hear any of it.
No. Adams had it poke checked away by Larmer. Brought back into the zone to Lume. Lume starts it up ice to Adams. Adams flips it into the zone. Momesso is giving chase. Got tied up by Leach. Ronning there. Ronning backed it up for Momesso. Momesso's pass intercepted by Bookeboom again. Lume able to hold it in. Gloved it along the boards. And it's cleared away by Nemchinov. 9 seconds left on the power play and a penalty on Momesso, and he doesn't even bother to leave the box. He's waiting for him to open the door. Sergio Momesso committed the penalty right in front of the box. He just stood there waiting for him to open the door, and the Rangers will have another power play coming up with 8:18 left to go here in the third period.
And Sergei Nemchinov took 2 to the head for the team. Jyrki Lume reached him. Watch this on the left. Lume will get Nemchinov first, right there in the bush, and watch Momesso from the side with the cross check.
And you may think that that's not much of a call, and you'd probably be right in other circumstances, but right now Van Hellemond's going to call this game real tight.
Especially against the tougher guys and the bigger guys like Sergio Momesso.
So 8:18 to go, and we'll skate 4-on-4 for 4 seconds. Then the Rangers will have the power play, and the Rangers have this face-off where they want it, down in the Vancouver zone. Cross-checking on Momesso at 11:42. The Rangers will be getting their 5th power play of the game. These New York Rangers, this one has come a whole lot easier than they could ever have anticipated. 2 fluke goals, and Pavel Bure being sent out of the game. A major high sticking penalty in the first period towards the end of it. Hedican short-handed. Leach blocked it. Leach starts it up ice. Now it's a Ranger power play. 5th of the game for them. They are 0 for 4 on the power play. Keep piling up the 0 for here. 0 for their last 21. Cleared around the boards. And out of the zone, and Anderson got chopped. And no penalty called on it. Anderson got slashed up on the arm. Leach trying to hold it in, gets hit in the head by McIntyre. They retaliate against one another.
I'll guarantee you there are about 150 NHLers watching this hockey game around North America saying, well, Glenn deserved that for the one he got me.
Yeah,
Glenn Anderson, he's done that too, boy.
Cleared in by Graves. Over to get it is Diddick. Gerald Diddick clears it up. Not out. Leach held it in, never cleared the line. Power play for the Rangers. Short-handed rush here with Linden over skating. Kovalev starts it the other way, getting control of the puck. 56 on the Ranger power play. Kovalev brings it in. Kovalev with Graves in front of the net. Dropped it back. Karpatsev can't get to it. Lowe comes out to play the point on this Ranger power play. 4-1 Ranger lead. Graves tipped it in. Kovalev is in. Kovalev onside. The shot, he scores! That's why he's going to be a star sooner than later. It is a 5-1 Ranger lead, and it is the first power play goal of this series.
Boy, that had traces of Pavel Bure in it. What a move by Kovalev once he got free. Watch him fake to his backhand. There he goes to the backhand, then back to the forehand. The smart thing, got it elevated. And Kirk McLean actually went for the fake so bad. Watch McLean. Watch where he is when Kovalev scores. McLean is almost hugging the far post. Watch McLean. Oh, boy, did he go for the fake, and he should have gone for the fake. It was a terrific one.
So Alexei Kovalev gets a power play goal, and it is a 5-1 lead for the Rangers with 6:47 to go in the third period. Now Andy Van Hellemond will really be blowing that whistle here. Lume gets dumped on the good body check. They are departing the Pacific Coliseum in droves here, with the Rangers now up 5-1. Played by Glenn. Kovalev gets his second of this series and his seventh of the playoff from Graves and Messier on the power play goal, and the Rangers are 1 for 5 on the power play tonight. Now we see Jay Wells coming out. He's played very little tonight. Rangers cleared up ice. Messo put the check on as he followed it through on Joey Kocur. The Kocur skates away. At center loose, Leach back there to get it. Drops it back for Bukaboom. Shots are 25-23 in favor of the Rangers. So the Rangers have a 5-1 lead on Vancouver, with this series tied at 1-1. Nathan Lafayette. His shot, Mike Richter the save. Martin Chelena taken out of the play by Nemchinov. Richter lost his stick. He goes out to get it, gets back in net while the battle goes on against the boards. Glenn trying to free it up. Nemchinov won't let him. Comes back to Courtnall. Courtnall lost it to Anderson. Anderson dumped it in the middle. Nemchinov waiting. He'll have to dump it in. Rangers would have been offside. That's why he shut it down along the blue line. Batted in the air by Nemchinov. That will end up in the seats. The New York Rangers with a 5-1 lead in this game. 5:24 remaining to go. Look at the move put on here. Kovalev, his second goal of the series, number 5 for the Rangers.
Last year I got Daddy this tie for Father's Day, but he never wears it. So I asked Mommy to take me to the store to get him what he really needs.
Now through June 30th, get a $5 mail-in rebate when you purchase any designer club. See your participating retailer or call 1-800-CLUB-321. The club, police recommended to keep your car safe from thieves. Accept no cheap imitations. Ask for the club by name.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy!
Do you know me? You may not recognize me without my hair. I'm Cy Sperling, Hair Club's first client. And since 1968, I've helped thousands of men with thinning hair. If you have thinning hair, this booklet is something you should have. It covers transplants, weaving, fusion, minoxidil, and proper hair care. So call our toll-free number now to get your free booklet. You saw the difference it made for me, and look what it did for our clients. So call our toll-free number now to get your free booklet.
Rangers leading the Vancouver Canucks here at home. They are 6-3 in the playoffs. The Rangers 5-2 on the road during the playoffs, and the Rangers looking as though they're going to add to that number. So both teams shot at winning one on the other's ice here. This series, this one, a surprise in this game. Down low, Hunter moving in on Richter. Oh, puck was covered up. Players are controlling themselves, however. Our Visa storyline from the Pacific Coliseum in beautiful Vancouver. Tonight, the Rangers 5 unanswered goals after the Canucks took the only lead they've had in this series, 1-0. Kovalev, his second goal of the series, made it 5-1, and Bukaboom has added 2 assists.
And the definitive moment in this hockey game, the replay brought to you by Visa, occurred when Pavel Bure got his stick right into Jay Wells' face and was gone. 5-minute major penalty and game misconduct. And the Vancouver Canucks were not the same after.
And if you did join us late, Brian Burke, who rules on suspensions, reviewed the tape after the incident. He's here at the game and has already decided there will be no suspension of Bure. Bure will play in Game 4 here on Tuesday night, and we will have that game for you. Tuesday night right here, and Thursday night back at Madison Square Garden. Richter came out to play it and got it up through center ice. Brown had it tipped away. Linden comes to get it. Graves bats it back into the zone. Hedekin going back. A 5-1 Ranger lead as they've exploded here in this game once Bure was gone. 25-25 the shots. Cleared up and out. Diddick is there. Lidster just got hit behind the play by Antosky, and Antosky was offside. Late coming out of the zone. 4:23 left in the third.
Every year, American business wastes millions of dollars on international calls by using the wrong long-distance company. Now you don't have to waste that money. Introducing MCI's Proof Positive Worldwide. Save up to 50% off typical international calls around the world. Call by June 30th and get 1 month of free long distance. Call MCI now and put your money back in your business.
Hey, everyone likes to go out and have a good time.
But if you've had one too many, here's a few suggestions to combine with your night out.
Like calling a cab.
Counting on a friend.
Designating a driver.
Or hey, do what we do. Take the bus home.
Let's hit it, Joe.
Miller Lite and Brooks & Dunn remind you to please think when you drink, because that's a great sounding combination.
Face off at center. Diddick drops it off. Shot deflected in the corner as Babbage took it. Stepan Matteau saw Diddick coming. They played one another. Bokaboom played the puck. Backhanded in front. Martin Gelinas. Gelinas tied up by Jay Wells. Wells pins him up in the corner. Diddick came back to get the loose puck off the back of the net. Wells there to get it. Round the boards. Anderson hit by Babbage and leveled. Shot by Adams. Fanned on. Deflected off Wells in front of Mike Richter. Mike Richter coming into this game with a .928 save percentage, has given up only 1 on the 25 shots taken by the Canucks in this game. A .183 goals against, second best. Only Dominic Hasek has a better save percentage in this year's playoffs than that man, Mike Richter. Gelinas on the far side, picked right up off the ice by Gilbert and didn't like it. Punches him in the face, and Gilbert will have none of it. Gilbert just backed off and let Gelinas punch him. Andy Van Hellemond will back away from the pile to get a good view in case anyone else wants to join the crowd in the sin bin.
Okay, guys, baseball or bass fishing?
Baseball. Bass fishing.
Hey, guys, watch this.
Miller Lite presents professional baseball. Watson calls for a fresh bass. There's the windup and the fish. It's a high fly bass. Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste and less filling, you can combine anything. Here comes a play at the plate. You're out. Oh, he dropped the bass. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? Whoa.
Oh.
Greg Gilbert's going to be kidding about this one after the game.
Well, he was joking with the guys at the bench. I mean, he really took a couple of shots to the team. Watch this. I mean, Martin Gelinas really started to rough him up. Boom, boom, boom. Not finished yet, folks. Keep watching. Boom. Now, Greg Gilbert's looking around saying, Andy, you did see this now, didn't you?
I mean, I'm taking 3 for the team here now. I want to hear the whistle. Greg Gilbert and his teammates were all over him over there. You can do that when you're up 5-1. And it is another power play as Gelinas goes on the roughing call at 16:35. Rangers 1 for 5 on the power play. They're back on it again with 3:21 left to go in the third period. And they've built the lead up. Leach, Anderson, Leach again, Larmer, and Kovalev. The 5 goals for the Rangers after Bure had scored the first goal of the game at 1:03 of the first period. Boy, if any start was not to be indicative of a game, it has been the start in this one. Gilbert behind the net. Rangers came out the first 38 seconds with some quick bursts. Looked like they were going to rush it again. Then Bure scored. Place was alive. Roof was coming off the Pacific Coliseum. Had nothing to do with this game.
Absolutely nothing. The Rangers got a soft goal on Kirk McLean to tie it. I mean, a weird, incredibly weird soft goal. And then Bure was ejected from the game, and everything turned in favor of the Rangers. And the Rangers, credit, they never even came close to coming unglued when Pavel Bure scored that early goal in the breakaway. If anything, it looked like they kind of hunkered down a little bit and sort of got themselves together.
Yep. And then made it work for the rest of it. Leach looking for the hat trick. 2 goals here tonight. 48 seconds in the Ranger power play. Messi drops it back to him. Leach dragging it back. Looks more like the penalty killing unit here than the power play. Messi a little deeper with Linden on him behind the net. Down to just 2 minutes left to go in the game. Leach in his own zone. Gets it back up to Messier. 30 seconds remaining on the Ranger power play. Lidster at the blue line. Tried to get it in. Skated in. Was blocked. Linden's got it. Linden sends it back. Jeff Brown all the way down off the blocker on Mike Richter. Lidster will go over to get it. 17 left in the power play, and the Rangers content to just skate around with it really in their own end of center ice.
Except for Alexei Kovalev. He wants another one.
He wants to skate around. Messier moving in. His shot right through the crease. Rebounds out to center ice. Bukaboon comes over to get it. And at 29 left to go in the game. Power play is over. And the Canucks are back to full strength. 1:23 remaining. The New York Rangers about to take a 2-1 lead in this series against the Vancouver Canucks. I want to remind you, World Cup soccer is going to be seen on ESPN, and lots of it, beginning on June 17th. 41 games will be brought to you commercial-free by Canon, Coca-Cola, GMC, MasterCard, and Snickers. Defending champion Germany, June 17, World Cup soccer on ESPN. Minute 20 left to go in this one. Baseball tonight will be coming along next here on ESPN. An update on what went on in baseball on this Saturday. Mike Richter is kind of cruised.
Yes, and I think he is the guy that really seemed to calm down the quickest from a Rangers standpoint, and he was the guy that got scored on in the breakaway by Pavel Bure. Not rattled at all. I mean, Mike Richter has shown great resilience and ability to bounce back from situations that, you know, looked like they might have caused a problem for his confidence. Remember, in Game 1, he was scored on, a little squibber over his shoulder that trickled in. In Game 2, Cliff Ronning, the same thing, came around the short side and flipped one up high that sort of trickled down over Mike Richter's shoulder. He said, you know what, I'll take the heat. I didn't play those well. And now it's time for Kirk McLean, perhaps, going into Game 4 to start with some of the same self-talk, because Kirk McLean had a couple of weird pucks get by him in this game.
Look at this. Largest deficit of the playoffs. Vancouver trailing by 4 in this game. The largest deficit of the playoffs coming in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. For Vancouver, they've never trailed by more. Lidster back to get it. Dropped off behind the net. Battle there with Murray, Craven, Nemchinov. Antosky moved in. Down to 42 seconds and a penalty coming up.
Sure.
Look at the cross-checking.
Andy Van Hellemond should have called the first one. Sean Antosky just kept cross-checking Sergei Nemchinov from behind. Andy Van Hellemond pumped once, decided not to the first time, but then Sean Antosky looked like he wanted to hurt Sergei Nemchinov, and Andy Van Hellemond called it. None too soon for Sergei Nemchinov. He took 3 good cracks right in the small of his back.
Interesting. We talked about how steady the Rangers have been as far as their mental plateau is concerned. We've seen here in this third period that the Rangers are not going to retaliate. I mean, they're standing there at the end of the game. They lead 5-1 in it, and they're just saying, go ahead. They're not throwing punches. They're not retaliating. They're going to stay right on that plane they're on.
That is as good an example of the veteran leadership, of the mature resolve, if you will, that the Rangers have. Watch this. Number 18 in white, Antosky. 1 big one on Nemchinov. 3. Again, 4. Finally, when he got him driven right down to the ice in the small of his back, Andy Van Hellemond decided to call it. Mind you, Sean Antosky at 6'4" and 240 pounds is not to be trifled with.
He will go to the dressing room with only 40 seconds left to go. So the New York Rangers will take a 2-1 lead in the series, with the next game being here on Tuesday. Antosky gets a cross-checking and a roughing, a double minor at 9:17. And the Rangers will go back on the power play again.
I'm going to give Mike Keenan some credit here, Gary. I'll tell you why. If you look at Brian Leach. Mike Keenan, all the times that Sean Antosky and Tim Hunter have been on the ice, could have countered with Joey Kosar at the drop of a hat. And Mike Keenan would have known at that point when he put Corker on the ice probably what would have happened. And we've hardly seen that matchup.
Hasn't done that.
If anybody deserves credit for this thing not getting out of hand, it might be Mike Keenan.
He's let it go. Wanting to keep his Rangers right where they are. No need of losing someone on a major chance for a suspension or something like that. Comes back to center. Wells back to get it. Mike Richter is going to be 14-5 in net in the playoffs, and his career record goes to 22-14 in career playoffs for him. Kirk McLean will take the loss. He's going to be 13-7, and the New York Rangers have really stunned the Vancouver Canucks in this game. It's over. The Rangers win it by a score of 5-1. Brian Leetch, a couple of goals. A magnificent game for him again as he continues on the hunt for the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP of the playoffs. And Mike Richter has picked up the victory in net. So Vancouver will go back to regroup, and the New York Rangers will get some time off. We've completed Game 3. The Rangers 5 and the Canucks 1. For Bill Clement, Al Morganti, Steve Levy, and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us. John, back to you.
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. And so the Canucks lose without Pavel Bure, but maybe it's a good thing for the Rangers that they did blow them out. Now the Canucks can't say it was close and we lost because we didn't have our gun.
Rangers played well. I think they're going to be a very, very confident club the next game. McLean showed some weaknesses. Being normal, that's going to really pick them up.
And for the goaltenders, Mike Richter needed a game to build his confidence, and for Kirk McLean, maybe the other way.
Seeing a change of momentum in terms of the goaltending right now. We're seeing that Kirk McLean is a very normal goaltender at this point, and that Mike Richter is getting more and more confident as this series is going on. So we've seen a switching of the momentum for the goalies.
So the Rangers lead this series now 2-1 with game number 4 coming your way Tuesday night. Note the time is 9 o'clock Eastern time. The Rangers leading the series 2-1. For Barry Melrose and Darren Pang, I'm John Saunders. Thanks for watching, and good night.
After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang out.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.